1212, I go by the name of DJ What, and you're now listening to the original Jeek podcast. Let's go!
Ready to make an entrance, so backward cut.
Come on, cut for me.
Oh yeah. Whoa, slow down. Whoa, speed up.
Fresh.
Making me itch.
What up, Jeeks? My name is Rockin' Mr. Magic, and he is
Unique DNA.
And this is the original Jeek podcast. Unique DNA, my man, what's up?
What is up, bro? What's going on? How's everything going? I feel like we talked about this earlier in the pre-show, but I feel like we haven't talked in like weeks.
Well, it's been, today's Tuesday. So it's been 1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
But it feels like 5.
That's because we got so much going on, it feels like 5.
Yeah.
Well, to make it feel even more cozy up in here, we have a wonderful guest with us on this episode. So to get us started, we want to welcome Max Moser of the Infinity Bros podcast. Max, welcome.
Dude, guys, thanks for having me on, man. It's so much fun to be here, and I don't think a podcast has hit more close to my heart than Jeek Nation podcast. This is the podcast to be on. Jocks, Geeks, let's go. Come on. This is amazing. We got music and everything. I love it. I have no reason to be there. We're not worthy. Thank you for having me. Super grateful to be here.
Well, look back. After 4 years, we better be good at something that we're doing here.
I know. I mean, I'm sure we passed the 10,000 hour mark at this point.
Facts. Like, yeah, come on. Let's that expertise start rolling in now. Like, come on. we be getting at it. So, Jeeks, to start this show, we're going to do a short little Q&A with our friend here, Max. But before we do that, we're going to let Max tell you all how you can find him and his content on the interwebs.
Yeah, you can follow me at Max Moser 73 or check us out, the Infinity Bros podcast. So our Twitter page is like a disaster in regards to names. It's it's the _ bros. It's the worst because apparently there's like 50 other people who have to have that name. So if you just Google us, look for the nice thumbs up from the yellow Thanos gauntlet, you'll see us. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. You can check us our content out there. But if you're looking to get more into the realm of football, which we might talk into, you can follow me as well. None of my friends know anything about football. I'm kidding. I love them. They know a lot about football. But they'll be devastated to hear me say that on another podcast and throw them under the bus. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, Jeeks, if your Google search fails because you find 15 other Infinity Bros,
yes,
we will provide a link in the description directly to Max's Twitter and to the Infinity Bros Twitter. That way you don't have to spend that time. We got it covered.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't do it.
Awesome. Well, let's start there. So let's start with your jock side. You mentioned football. Tell us your football love story.
Dude, so football for me has been like a story of just being in the right place at the right time every single time. So
it's gotta be nice.
Long story short with this is
that's fantastic.
This is a weird story, okay? My friends are eye rolling when they're listening to this, but for those that don't know me, my dad's in the Army, still in the Army right now. So we moved every 2 to 3 years. So football wasn't really an option in regards to consistency until I got to my junior year of high school. Got to play on a really special team. Ended up basically starting my football career with 2 state championships right out the gate, playing with some pretty impressive players, guys that went on to, some SEC schools and other that. So I was below average at best, but happened to be in a very great situation. Ended up getting some opportunities to play at the next level. Busted my knee, came up to Minnesota at a smaller school called Crown, which is where I met my friends that are on the Infinity Bros podcast. We actually played football together, all my friends, except for one of us, Jarrett. But he went to school with us. And so, again, same opportunities, just was lucky to be there. And I actually get to coach now at the school I do my youth ministry work with through Young Life at Prior Lake High School, which is a 6A program here in Minnesota. pretty prestigious. Every week we're playing the best teams in the state. And so I get to be part of those conversations. And I mean, these are very high level intellect coaches. And so get to be in the room for those conversations and get to engage. I'm a 9th grade head coach, so I'm not, making any decisions if anybody hates or loves varsity. But I've just been blessed. I mean, that's just my story. So really passionate about it. Love it. Super excited to chat football with you guys today. But yeah, football has just kind of been enmeshed in my story for the longest time. It's kind of been a consistency point as you hear the ups and downs and flows of my life. But
Yes.
yeah, super blessed, super lucky, and right place, right time. That's my story. So that's about it.
So
I feel like your football story is like a pure flicks.
Right? Yeah, I think we've seen. All right, hey, we're gonna write that down. We're gonna make sure we pitch that to Pure Flicks.
Either Pure Flicks or Hallmark, right? Like it's just perfect. It's got one of those stories written all over it.
It can't work for Hallmark because he's not a pretty blonde or a redhead.
That's fair. That's
and
fair.
you're Christian.
Yeah, too Christian for it. It just won't work. It
that
won't work. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm just.
And it's
I have
not
a
Christmas
face for
time.
radio.
It is on a Christmas story, so yeah, that can't happen. Because
Pure flicks is the way to go.
yeah, definitely
Right.
Pure Flicks. Awesome. So when you played, what position did you play?
So I played right tackle pretty much the whole time. In college, I switched back and forth just because of depth purposes. Really like offensive line. Got to play a little defensive line, but I'd say my spot is offensive line. I'm not as agile and athletic as some of the defensive linemen I've played with in my life. Those guys are incredible. But I can be sturdy and put my foot in the ground and play patty cake. So there we go. That's about all I've got in regards to athleticism. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's about all I can bring to the table.
You sound like one of our friends, Big Country. He's like that too. He's like, I'm not athletic at all, but you can't move me either.
Exactly. It's perfect. Yes, Big Country. Perfect name. Perfect name. I would take that. If somebody said we want to call you Big Country, I'd be like, where do we sign up? Can I have that nickname? That sounds perfect. You don't mess with that guy. You never mess with I've never met Big Country, but you don't mess with Big Country.
Yeah, no.
No, we were skill position players. We were flashy pretty boy players.
I was gonna ask, what did you guys play then? That was literally my next question.
So I played. I was a little bit all over the place. I played DN. That was in like freshman year when I was tall, and faster than everybody, but not necessarily didn't have to be big.
Okay.
And then switched to quarterback, and so I played quarterback and a little bit of a receiver.
Oh my gosh, you were everywhere. That's literally the gambit. That's every level. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, man.
I was the epitome of the Swiss Army knife. So a little bit more about my football background. I have a very high football pedigree.
Okay.
I've got, on both sides of my family. So to put it in context for you, I am preparing a podcast with my Uncle John, who won a championship in the USFL and played several years in the NFL.
Okay.
That's on his side. My cousin Robbie had a full ride to Bowling Green.
Wow.
Like we've got
fun
D1 players pretty much except for me because I quit. And then on my mom's side, we've got we only have a Hall of Famer. So football
only a Hall of Famer.
Only a Hall of Famer. So football is in my pedigree. Okay.
Excuse me.
I played literally every position but
love it
quarterback.
Okay.
So what was craziest was in 8th grade, I was revolving from defensive end, right guard, and when the starting tailback was out, then I was the backup tailback. I was the slot receiver on certain packages.
Oh my gosh!
And then on defense, I was, like I said, I was D end or D tackle. They just switch me everywhere, but they would also pull me back into middle linebacker, and I could play safety because I was faster than all of them. And then I was also the number 2 kick returner, and I was the backup punter.
How does somebody go from a right guard?
I did go kick return too.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
How does somebody go from right guard to halfback? Like I'm trying to process that transition.
I mean, the honest answer, unfortunately, is I was the only black kid in a racist town, and they didn't want me to be the star.
Roger that. Okay.
I was taller, stronger, faster than every single player that was there.
That makes a lot more sense.
That
makes a lot more sense.
They did not want me to be the star. My teammates got mad because I worked harder than they did. and like our early jog, I would not let them beat me in anything. So
not in that position. You were kind of forced to do it that way, right? I mean, like
I didn't have much of a choice, and they would not let me play quarterback. Clearly,
that's insane.
And they should have, because there was nobody on any of those fields except for when we played some all black team from Virginia that had anywhere close to my speed, because I was a multi-sport athlete. I ran track, basketball, football, so I had more speed and I knew how to run compared to most of them. And I was actually sometimes faster in pads, which is crazy. But there were games I saved because of my speed.
Right.
We would have lost on a flea flicker, except for I chased a dude down like Ben Watson.
Right.
On Chan Bailey style. Like I chased
DK Metcalf this last weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see DK run that guy run Buda Baker down? That was insane, dude.
It was crazy.
That was wild.
So they put me everywhere, but in the positions to get shine.
Yeah.
But then in high school, I pretty much rotated between safety, nickel corner, and linebacker. A couple times I went to DN because I had the strength. But by that time, I wasn't the biggest and tallest anymore. Now I'm middle of the pack height-wise.
Yeah.
But because of my skills and also elite coaching, because my dad coached me. My dad coached my uncle all the way to the NFL. So
Sweet.
I knew a lot more of the game. So I was able to move around so easily, and they would hide me in packages because the other team didn't know what was going on because they didn't know what position I was really playing.
I was just going to say that. I was like, game planning for you guys is a nightmare. Game planning for you is a nightmare personnel-wise. You don't know what they're going to come out in ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man,
that actually was, my coach definitely used that to his advantage. He was always like, we're gonna run you on the receiver one this time. And I'm like, wait, what? And then he's like, just run a fly, because I was fast. I was actually
he was a track star too.
Year. Yeah, I was like my junior year I came out second in the state.
Okay.
For track, so I was fast, and like Matt said, like I was faster than most people because I knew how to run because I ran track. So they would just they were like, listen, just run out on the fly, and look back and the ball will be there. It was like
perfect
because they knew I could outrun pretty much any D-back out there.
Too easy.
Yeah. So they would do that, and then halfway through the game, they're like, all right, we're putting you in a QB. Okay, we're gonna put you in a DN. And people were like, what are you doing? Like, you're all over the place. But they would put me in, they would use my speed.
Yeah, it was opportunities, right? I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna put you in the QB. And I had a good arm too.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time I was probably throwing about 40, I think it was like 40, 50 yards. So I had a really strong arm, accurate. Like I practiced it. My dad used to teach me a lot. And so I would go on the QB and they're like, wait, is it a trick play? Because they're like, he was just running receiver.
How do they know? You can't know.
QB.
It's not possible.
And I go out there and throw the ball and they're like, oh wait, he's the actual quarterback.
Right. Yeah,
so,
it seems that's a philosophy for us at our school that we coach at. It's like, and it's at all levels, is let's just put the best 11 on the field. And I don't know where that thought process was back in the day. Obviously, you're speaking to the racism part of it, but it doesn't make any sense to me as a coach. Why would you not want to win?
Yeah.
Why would you not want to win? Put the best 11 out. Let's go. Let's have at it. Doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't.
Blows my mind.
My uncle has told me stories about when my father played, and the fact that he didn't get to shine on the next level because his coach didn't like him. And my father would tell me stories about his football exploits, and you take it. Your dad's talking about his glory days. You take it with a grain of salt. I didn't, and then they confirmed it. One quick story. He played a game, broke his arm in the second play of the game. He's playing free safety, mind you. Broke his arm, second play of the game. Finished the game, had 20 solo tackles.
Jeez.
With a broken arm.
What an animal.
Sheesh.
And I'm like, how did you do that? And he's like, I was back there and I chanted kill the entire game.
Do not mess with that guy.
When people ask me why I don't mess with my father, that's why. That man is crazy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's not my football story, and I will never claim that is my football story. Your dad can have that, and Godspeed to him.
Yeah, that's insane.
The cats ain't built like that no more.
No, he's just built different. That's all that is.
Yeah,
that's all that is.
That's old school, hard nosed football.
Seriously, dude, guys are crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah, so when it comes to I don't know why he didn't get the chance to play at next level or even higher, because it's wild. But
Play the best 11. Play the best 11. That's it. That's the strategy.
Always should be. It's play the best 11.
Play the best 11. Roll from there.
And best 11 can be guys that don't have maximum talent but are coachable. They know what to do. They listen.
Correct.
They're precise. They make things happen. Because I can't imagine any fullback being the best athlete out there, really. But hey, you do your job. You work hard. You're listening. You're coachable.
Totally.
You're one of my top guys.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
So
definitely,
you mentioned obviously that you're doing the coaching part on the youth level. Where does your football go as far as the professional level? Being that you're an Army kid and you kind of travel around, did you ever get a loyalty?
So the loyalty is to the Vikings, right? And this is.
We have to shut this. Shut.
All right, let's
record it.
Have a good one. See you guys later. All right.
Shut it down.
If it's any consolation, being a Vikings fan does that. We do that to ourselves now. We're at the point now where we're doing that kind of response to ourselves. We're like, what are you doing? Why? Why do you like them so much? I would so out east. What are you guys fans of? Are we talking Giants fans, Pittsburgh fans, Philly fans? What are we talking here?
We're Lions.
We're both Lions.
Lions fans. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Well, never mind then. I feel like I feel above you now. I'm back to being above.
At least not this season now. Come on now.
Yeah, before I was like, oh man, there's some history over there with those teams, and they're like, no, with the Lions, no, there's not. We're good.
No, our history. Hey, our history. No, our history.
It's Barry Sanders.
It's Barry Sanders. Our history is Billy Sims. Can't forget about the first 20.
Okay.
Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, Megatron. That's it. And I don't count Stafford because
you guys can't even finish a Mount Rushmore if you wanted to. Matthew Stafford would be your fourth.
I mean, it would Stafford would be the fourth.
9
but
no.
That dude deserves so much better.
We
don't discuss number 9.
All right, fair enough.
For us to do a Mount Rushmore, we'd have to go pre-Super Bowl era.
For sure.
We'd have to go all the way back to Doak Walker and the 1950-something NFL championship that the Lions won. Yeah, so we're in sorry.
As long as Megatron and Barry Sanders are there, you probably can't go wrong after that. It really doesn't matter who you pick after that.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment,
but it's still sad.
But it's sad. Yeah, it really is sad. But we've got more wins this year than y'all do.
Oh yeah, we're garbage this year. We're hot garbage. We need to blow it all up. It's all got to go. I've been on the fire Mike Zimmer bandwagon for 2 years.
We've been on the fire Matt Patricia.
You guys should have kept Caldwell.
He got hired.
You should have kept Caldwell.
You should have kept Caldwell.
I said we should have kept Caldwell.
Yeah,
I've been saying that.
Caldwell knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Patricia's a nut job.
Hey, well, if it keeps getting worse in New England, maybe we'll keep Quinn and have Quinn bring in Hoodie, because that person from New England I'll take. All the other ones I'm not interested in, but that one I'll take.
You wouldn't take Bieniemy right now from Kansas City? Because I feel like
from New England.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just speaking like head coach.
Because see, if you look at the
Lions
Lions front office and roster, it's full of former New England people, except for the one that counts the most.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't understand.
Have we heard anything from Jamie Collins this year?
No.
It's like he don't even exist. Is Amendola called a pass?
Dude, you guys, I think the Lions are better than New England right now, at least. I would say that. I would take the Lions right now.
No, that's a tough one.
I would take the Lions simply because I think Stafford's better than Cam Newton. In my opinion. I would take Stafford or Newton. I don't know where you guys are. You guys are speaking pretty crazy thoughts about Stafford. Stafford's a baller. I just got to make sure I come and defend him on their show.
Stafford was a baller.
Dude, what are you talking about? He's awesome. He's awesome. He just threw that game-winning touchdown last week. What are you guys talking about?
But that was against virtually nobody. I mean,
okay. First of all, that virtually nobody team beat my team. Okay, so we need to calm down with that.
That is true.
Okay, they curb stomped my team. They walked into our house. They beat us up. Okay,
that is true.
Hey, we barely made it.
I know you guys barely made it out. It took the last play to do it.
Oh man,
I like Stafford. I'm shocked you guys don't like Stafford.
No, it's not that we don't like.
I'm not a Stafford hater. I just feel like we could do better.
And we're not going anywhere with him. Like
yeah.
Like
I mean,
we don't.
At this point.
We don't dislike Stafford. We like Stafford. We just know that he's not going to get us over the hump.
Fair. That's
fair.
Fair.
We know that for the Lions, if they would have been smart, they'd have traded him 2-3 seasons ago and gotten value for him because now he's 31, 32 years old. He's coming off a major back surgery, and he has no more trade value. Now, 2 years ago, they should have sent him to Jacksonville when Jacksonville had an elite defense and needed a quarterback to get them to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Should have traded him then. Well, we could have gotten some picks for him. We could have gotten some value for him. But now he doesn't. No one's going to give a first. No one's going to give a fourth rounder for Stafford right now.
Yeah, I don't even think through the lens of a Lions fan. Like I can't even imagine what you guys have gone through your whole lives.
Painful.
Like it's your whole life. Like it's not like this. Like for us, it's like okay, this year is just hard, but we've had a couple good years the last couple of years.
Yeah,
you guys haven't had any of that.
Yeah,
no. Well, what was it? 5 years ago that we got screwed against Dallas.
Yeah,
that one and the one against the Packers.
Oh yeah, you guys always seem to go into.
I mean, the Dallas game was a playoff game.
But that would have
gotten us into the playoffs. Yeah,
right.
We needed that game. That was our wild card.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
I hope you guys make the playoffs this year. I hope you guys do it.
The way the season's going in general, I think we will.
You're better than Chicago. I think you are.
Yeah.
I think you're better than Chicago.
But they already beat us.
Never get out of the first round. Anyway.
They made Trubisky look like he was Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yeah,
they did. But I still think you're better in terms of. You just need to get rid of Patricia. That's the first step.
You ain't lying. And
that's the real deal. Get rid of him and Zimmer. We got to get rid of Zimmer. Zimmer needed to be gone last year. I don't care that we won our playoff game. Zimmer's so bad. Zimmer's so bad.
Let me ask you this as a Viking fan. How weird is it to see Adrian Peterson in a Lions jersey?
So that doesn't bother us.
Really?
When he had that whole switch incident that happened, I think in 2016, if I'm correct.
Something like that.
That kind of really dropped him down a couple pegs. So I've got a buddy who really kind of knows him well. He owns the buddy I have owns Original Pancake House in Eden Prairie, which is where Adrian Peterson was always going to on Tuesdays. He would like bring his players and hang out there. And he just said that kind of was like the moment of like Adrian Peterson was done with Minnesota. Like, and for whatever reason in his head, he felt like the Vikings were not handling that well, which I was like, I don't know how they're not handling this well.
You whooped a 3-year-old with a switch.
Yeah. I mean,
you did that, bro.
I'm not here to argue the philosophy of what he did. I'm more so saying like, it came out, you did it, own it, and move on. Like,
yeah.
And I think him going to Detroit and spending time with Washington, it was like, whatever to us. We love Dalvin Cook. We love Dalvin Cook here, and so like I for whatever reason, it's fine. He's a Viking long term. Everybody knows it. I mean, he'll retire a Viking.
He'll go into the Hall as a Viking.
He'll go into the Hall as a Viking. I mean, that 296-yard rushing game against the Chargers. That's a Hall of that's the game that they show, right? I mean, so he's good. I don't really care. I mean, you guys got Everson Griffin today too. Like he just got traded to the Lions.
Yeah,
today.
for a 6th-round draft.
Right.
Pick.
So like, I mean, it just seems like that's kind of the place for Vikings to go die. A little bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it. I mean,
he's not
all right,
wrong.
bye Everson. This is it. This is the last stop here.
It's where Patriots and Vikings go to die. Apparently,
seriously, it's
where
Patriots.
Everyone goes to die.
Yeah.
Remember when we got who was it?
Oh, remember when we got from the Vikings. I can see his face. Dante Culpepper. When Culpepper was there.
Oh, I loved Culpepper. I loved Dante Culpepper.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look, we got Dante Culpepper post Miami. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone goes to die. Jeff Garcia died there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Kitna. John Kitna after his Cincinnati days.
Kitna. Oh, yeah. What's his name? Can't think of his name now. I don't know why I keep thinking Isaac Bruce, but it wasn't Isaac Bruce.
You guys also had you had the guy that's on ESPN now, the Wake Up guy, Dan Orlovsky.
Oh God! Don't mention that name.
Orlovsky.
Don't say that name to me. Oh my God! I can't.
Running out the back of the end zone with Jared Allen pointing at him, laughing.
I cannot stand Orlovsky. Orlovsky has the nerve to be paid on ESPN to talk about a game he could barely play.
For sure. No
like,
question.
Bro, when he be talking about people, I'm like, dude, did you see your career?
I know.
Have like 5 total touchdowns in your 15-year career as a backup. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what big moments did you play in, bro? Like,
it is funny to hear him critique. It is very funny to hear him critique.
He is. I will listen to guys who weren't that great but know the game. I'll listen to Kirk Herbstreit on college. He was great in college. That's where he should be talking. I'll listen to the one that won the title with the Ravens. I can't remember his name.
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer. I'll listen to Trent Dilfer because he does know the game. He knows his position, and the guy actually won. He wasn't a great quarterback, but I'll listen to him. And he had times that he was successful. I will listen to a Jeff George. I'll even listen to a Jeff Blake.
Tony Romo is great too.
Tony Romo, he choked all the time, but he knows what he's talking about.
He's on another level with his
He probably
announcing.
should be coaching. Like Tony Romo.
Agreed.
I'll listen to Tony Romo. I will not give any credence to a word Dan Orlovsky says.
That was literally, you answered my question. I was like, as Lions fans, do we like that Orlovsky's famous now, or do we hate it? We hate it.
Can't
Okay,
stand
good.
it. No.
Okay.
Definitely
We
not.
have so many of the backup quarterbacks I'd rather listen to. Like, no.
Yeah.
Just Drew Stanton. Where's
And
Drew
he's a little
Stanton
arrogant
doing?
with it too, right? Like he's a little he thinks he's right, and you're like, that's a little weird that you're saying it that way.
Like, does he know we're all laughing at him right now? It's like
You're not Stephen A. Smith. You're not Skip Bayless. You're Dan Orlovsky.
You're Dan Orlovsky. Oh my God. Okay, I can't because we'll go down.
I'm sorry. I took you down. I took us down the Dan Orlovsky path. I apologize.
It's not your fault. This is what happens when we talk about the Lions. Then because we get all passionate and we're like, yeah, we want to Hulk out. It's crazy.
And I will say, the Vikings fans, we do not look down on Lions fans. Like we watch the Lions and we're like, that sucks. That sucks. We really hate the Bears and the Packers. We're cool with you guys. You guys rock.
That's because we're not a threat.
Yeah, but if you meet a Lions fan, that's a fan.
Yes.
There are no bandwagon Lion fans.
No.
When you guys get good eventually, and somebody says I've always been one, they're lying to you probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Own the moment when you get good.
It's like all those Golden State Warrior fans that cropped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you ain't no Warriors.
I'm a Laker fan as well, an LA Laker fan. And I know we're going to talk about this later a little bit, but like my buddy Robbie, who's on the Infinity Bros podcast, him and I had to endure 6 years of our friends just like coming after us. And we were like, there's going to come a moment where we're good. We're the Lakers, and here it is.
Right. Yeah.
You have to keep those receipts.
You got to keep them receipts. However, I'm scared that we'll be long gone before any receipts could be cashed in for the Lions. Like we'll be those fans like those Boston fans or those Cub fans that lived to be 85 and never saw their team win a championship. Like
we just had a really famous Minnesota sports writer named Sid Hartman, died at 100 years old. Never saw a single Vikings win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
That was like what his son wrote in the story of his dad.
You see, that's as a Michigan native. See, Danae's a Jersey guy, so he doesn't go to all Detroit sports like I do. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed in that I got to see my Pistons win 3 championships.
Good for you.
I got to see my Tigers win the World Series, and I got to see my Red Wings win a bunch of championships. So if the Lions don't win one in my lifetime, I really can't complain because I saw everything else.
I can.
You can, because you're an Orlando Magic fan for some reason. You told me why, but it still don't make sense to me.
You're a fan of pain. I see. My gosh.
Well, so it started way back with like Shaq and Penny.
Okay.
And then it moved on to T-Mac. He's my favorite player of all time.
T-Mac is amazing.
Yeah. And then like he left, and then it was like we kept getting good players, but couldn't win any games. So like
you get him too early.
We had Dwight Howard. Yeah, we had Dwight Howard. We had all these different people.
He went to the finals.
Is Dwight going to retire a Laker now that he won a title, or is he going to retire a Magic? You think?
He'll go into the Hall as a Laker. I mean, I'm sorry, as a member of the Magic because
I know.
all
I
of
was
his
going to say, I was like,
accolades
which one
happened
is
in
it now?
Orlando.
Because he's like, I mean, he's spent enough years with the Lakers, he could make the argument.
No,
he could.
No.
He has. He spent like 5 years.
No, he spent what 3 total seasons
because he came back. He came back.
Yeah,
he went there, then he left, and he came back.
Yeah, but he wasn't even an All-Star when he was in LA the first time.
No, but if he won
all
the title,
his
is what I'm saying.
accolades,
would he claim it as a championship contender? Is my question.
No, but he was a Hall of
Orlando
Famer
for so
before
long.
then, though. He demands a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, multiple-time All-NBA, multiple-time All-Star. He was going into the Hall when he was still in Charlotte or in Atlanta.
True.
Like, he was going to be in the Hall of Fame because he has the resume. This championship for him, because he didn't do anything, this is a Mitch Richmond, Gary Payton, guys who won a title at the end of their career that you forgot won a title.
Yeah, he was there for 2 years. I don't know where I got 5 from. I thought he was there long. I thought he was at. I thought he was with LA for like 2 or 3 years for that stint, but he was only there in 2012.
Yeah, it was a failed experiment.
Yeah, because Steve Nash.
Well, I'm not even a Laker fan. When they signed Nash, I'm like, what are you doing?
Okay.
I mean, the guy couldn't play defense when he was 20. The guy's not going to be able to play defense with one leg at 36.
And an old decrepit Kobe. All right, I got to ask you this then, Detroit fan. Okay, so like with all the MJ things coming out, we're going off tangent. You guys just try.
That's okay.
Reel me in here.
No,
okay?
we're good. Go ahead.
So with the like,
we're good.
With all this MJ stuff that's been going on the last year with COVID, like the documentary, which was amazing, one of the best documentaries ever, and the Isaiah Thomas stuff comes up.
Mm-hmm.
What is your reaction to this? Was he like, is the disrespect like insane from somebody who lived in that era compared to Michael Jordan?
We're going down a rabbit hole.
This is like an honest question I have. I need to hear from like an honest Detroit Pistons fan
you're lucky
who's not going to sugarcoat it for me.
All the way down the rabbit hole
so
now. Strap in, folks.
Because you were there. You were there.
I was
saw
there.
it. You watched it.
I was there. Okay, so let me put my Pistons fandom into perspective for you, okay? I have the Wheaties box. I have the T-shirt. I have multiple books on the Bad Boys. I still have posters that are not hanging, but they're in boxes in my storage. Like I am a Piston. I'm a Bad Boy fan for life. I met Adrian Dantley, and the only thing I asked him was, "Are you still mad at Isaiah for getting you traded?" Like that is.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You did not. You asked him that?
I did.
That takes some guts, man. I'm gonna tell you what. That takes some guts to ask that question.
I don't know. Have you ever heard of DeMatha High School?
No.
Okay, so DeMatha is a high school in the DC area. Coach Morgan Wooten is one of the high school basketball coaches, one of the greatest ones. Like people talk about him, Coach Hurley, like those are great all-time high school coaches.
Okay.
DeMatha, Joe Forte, like tons of great players went to DeMatha.
Okay.
Huge school. Okay. So they have a camp. I'm at this camp. This camp had, and I went there 2 weeks in a row at this camp. I met not just AD, like Danny Ferry was there. I met all these people, like NBA players come through and talk. So Adrian's coming, he's giving this talk to this group of us. And as he's talking about it, talking about different things, they asked, does anyone have a question? Nobody had a question. And I'm probably the only Detroit cat there. So I'm just like, I got a question. And he's like, okay, go ahead. I'm like, are you still mad at Isaiah for getting you traded off the Pistons?
What did he say?
He cracked up.
I believe
clapped his hands together. He goes, everywhere I go, someone asks me that question. And I'm like, I'm a Pistons fan. I gotta know. Are you still? And the reason why I asked that question is because I have this book by Cameron South. It's called The Franchise. If you ever read it, it's a great in-depth look at that 1989 team.
Okay.
At the end of one of the chapters, it was talking about the trade of Danley for Aguirre. And during the first game where the Pistons played the Mavericks, the book states that Isaiah and AD embraced each other before the game, and that AD whispered in Isaiah's ear, "I'll never forgive you for getting me traded." So the book says it. I'm taking the book verbatim, so I had to ask the question. So my Piston fandom is hardcore. There's a group I'm in. Shout out to my friends, especially Carl Kalangis of the Sports Hit List. He's had me on multiple times. It's particularly to talk about the Bad Boys episode of The Last Dance. So Isaiah Thomas is my dude, okay?
Right.
Zeke is my man. Brought us 2 chips. Like, that's my guy. The hate, the animosity, it's real. It's like there's not real beef in the league anymore. That beef is real, and it's never going to die.
No,
like
it's the reason. I think the reason that they get criticized so much for teaming up is because of this era.
Yes, because
this era
because these
defined
guys-
that expectation moving forward.
You didn't play. If you played together with someone you were formerly like a rival with, it's because you got traded. It's because you had no choice. You didn't say, I can't beat these guys, or I don't like these guys. Let me play with them and get over the hump. No, you did what you could to destroy them. And it was a different era. It was a different mindset. Like, and I try to explain that when people talk about the, this GOAT debate and this and that, what the mindset was of players playing during what I consider the golden age of basketball in the 80s. You had great talent and you had guys with drive, because the money was not what anywhere close to what it is today. So these guys, all these guys, black, white, didn't matter. All these guys are coming from situations where this money is life-changing for them, their families,
Right.
and their future generations, their grandkids.
Yeah.
This is going to change their lives forever if they manage their money right. So you had guys like Bill Laimbeer. It was a joke that he was the only one in the league who made less money than his dad did, because he was a rich kid. So like, their lives are changed dramatically by what they have in the league. And when Isaiah, Magic, Bird, Mike, when they were pretty much the top 5 players in the league, they were the only ones getting like $1 million a year. No one else was making that type of money. So when you get to that point and you're driving, you're pushing for that makes your life that different, that's getting you out of, for Isaiah's, South Side Chicago, it's getting you out of the Chicago slums, and getting out the hood. Your family, his family, which have been embroiled in gangs. The Vice Lords out there had half of his brothers in there. And there's a movie, I don't know if you know, there's a movie about his mom, Mary Thomas, about the fact that the Vice Lords came to her house to try to get some of her sons and give them the gang. And Mary Thomas came out the door with a shotgun, like, you better get off my porch. Yeah, Mary Thomas wasn't no joke.
Don't mess with her.
Yeah. So like, that's the environment a lot of these guys are coming from. It is life or death. And when they get on that court and you're making that type of money because you can play a game, it's a completely different. It's not just a game for these guys.
Right.
So Mike had that type of mentality. Magic had that type of mentality. Bird had that. French Lick is the smallest hick town, poor town out there. That dude is a killer. So you have all these killers out there virtually killing each other. And when you have a situation where Zeke had what Mike wanted, Mike was tired of losing to them, and he was getting beat up by them.
Yep. The Jordan rules were, he was
Jordan
done with the Jordan
rules
rules.
were a thing. And anyone that's read The Art of War, you got to cut the head off the snake. Zeke's the head of the snake. So it got personal. Mike said things in the newspaper. The whole freeze out thing. Mike said the freeze out didn't happen, and I think the freeze out was one of those things that Mike conjured up in his head to give himself drive, because we know Mike makes things up in his head and has his own reality.
I think we all learned that in the documentary.
Yes. So if you didn't know, Mike makes that's Mike. So and I think the whole freeze out happened because, like, if you look at the numbers, I think Jordan had like 1 or 2 touches less than everybody else. Like, that man wasn't frozen out the game. The numbers don't lie. Okay, I got
so
there's that beef is legit, and the Dream Team beef.
That's what I was gonna ask. Should he have been on the Dream Team?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Okay, the Dream
because there's
Team,
some people that say he shouldn't have because of how they did. That's why I'm asking.
Those people are insane.
That's fine. I'm just asking.
Anyone that says John Stockton or Chris Mullin should have been on the Dream Team over
Chris
Isaiah
Mullen was
Lord
not as
Thomas
good as him. Yeah, I agree with him.
Even Drexler wasn't better than Zeke then. I mean, maybe at the 92. No, 92 he was never better than Zeke.
That was just a name.
And he was never that type of level of caliber player. Like, I like Clyde. I love Clyde, but Patrick Ewing, love him, not better than Zeke. David Robinson, and he was only 3 years into the league. Like, bro, you're not better than them. You're not better than a guy who's won 2 titles. Multiple time all. Like, you're not. This dude's and here's another thing. When they did the top 50 players in 1996, one guy out there who was standing alone did not have a teammate with him, and that's Isaiah Lord Thomas III. every other top 50 player had a teammate also wearing one of those jackets.
So you must just hate Michael Jordan then. Like you must be in a very small minority of people who cannot stand the love that Michael Jordan gets.
I have a profound respect for Michael Jordan.
For sure.
I love his
Everybody
game.
has a profound respect.
Not a lot of these young kids don't. I love watching Mike play. I love watching Mike play.
Even some of the older ones, though.
Yeah. I don't hate him, but I don't act like I'm a fan either because I'm a Bad Boys fan. Like that, he's still the enemy to this day.
Do you get mad when people say LeBron's better?
I get mad if people say
take it
LeBron's.
personally?
I get mad if people say LeBron's better for dumb reasons. Like if you want to say LeBron's better for a reason that makes sense, okay. But
what quantifies as a reason that makes sense? Like 10 straight finals, or like what is it? What's the number for you that's like?
See that is, I mean, that's a reason because it's impressive.
Right.
You know, generally that's a team thing. That's not a hey, this guy left and went to this other team and they made the finals. Like that's impressive. That's a heck of a streak. Now obviously he lost more than he won, but that's a heck of a streak. You know, that's impressive. Obviously his cumulative stats are impressive. The points, assists, rebounds, extremely impressive. For me, when you're talking about GOATs, is when you really have to start nitpicking differences. To me, Mike is on top, and the only reason why Mike is on top over Kareem, who's my number 2, is because Mike peaked in the NBA. Mike was a good high school player, got great because he grew. He was a very good college player, got a little better, got to the NBA, and then he peaked. And when he reached the mountaintop, nobody else got any.
Right. That's a good point.
Dominated the mountaintop.
Yeah, whereas guys like,
went and played baseball for 2 years.
Yeah.
Came back and was like, okay, this is mine again. And people were like, well, what about 95 then when they lost to Orlando? I'm like, I don't pretend like that didn't happen, but I'm also not going to act like that was a full NBA season. That was the only teammate on that 95 team that he had before was Scottie Pippen. Everybody else was different, had not played with them. He played 17 regular season games, so that does not carry the same weight to me. When a man had a full season, the man won 6 straight in a full season. Like that's. And not only three-peat, which is very hard. Very few teams have done it, but you three-peated twice.
Yeah.
And if Reinsdorf and Krause weren't idiots, they probably would have four-peated in that 99 lockout season too, because they wouldn't have been as tired and they would only play 50-some games before the playoffs. And I don't see anybody beating them in 99 if Mike and Scotty and Rodman are still there. But that's a what if. There's no, but so that you can't top that. Kareem, the 6 MVPs, the 6
makes complete
titles.
sense. Yeah,
the most unstoppable move probably in all sports. Like, no one can stop the skyhook. Kareem dominated.
Yeah,
and Kareem has the best basketball career. Period. Lost 2 games total in high school. Lost like 2 games total in college, and dominated for 19 seasons in the NBA. 35 years old, winning finals, winning finals MVPs, winning NBA championships in his elderly years. Like, come on, and I said it last week, and David was like, "Oh, you're gonna get some hate for that," because I said Bron ain't better than Cap, and I no disrespect to Bron, but he's not better than Kareem. He's not. I'll take that he's better than Bird. I'll put him above Bird now. He got that 4th ring. I will put him above Bird.
Hold on, he wasn't above Bird before? What was going on?
He wasn't above. First of all, Bird won 3 straight. He won. Bird
We're retreading last episode. Sorry.
He won 3 straight MVPs. Larry Bird did. He also won 3 titles in the toughest era of basketball.
Oh my god!
For a white dude who could not jump and was slow, that man averaged 26 a game. And here's another thing, and not, this is not a knock on LeBron. This is just fact. LeBron, and this is why, to me, why LeBron has not won more. And in my opinion, the physical specimen LeBron is, he should be the GOAT. And I think that's what some people
get
irritated about. Because of that physical specimen he is, mixed. If you mix with skill and the fact that LeBron is in year 17, he still only has one post move is insane. So if he took the drive to commit to the fundamentals that Mike did, plus that athleticism, he should be far above everybody else. But that unfortunately is not what happened. You had someone like Bird who got his, but LeBron is always the system, and that's part of the reason why he hasn't won more. When you're the system, you limit everybody else. Mike played within the system. When Mike was the system, they got into the playoffs. They went deep. They lost. When
Mike also had better coaching, though.
Hey, see, you're probably too young to remember this. Phil Jackson was nobody.
Oh, for sure. The documentary makes that very clear.
He was absolute, but most people didn't know that before the documentary.
Yeah, but he proved that he was somebody after that with the Lakers, is what I'm saying.
He honestly, people are gonna probably hit on this. Phil Jackson's a great coach. But as a coach, his greatness is not in coaching basketball. His greatness is in managing egos and personalities.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because
that's fair.
X's and O's wise, that's what Tex Winter was there for.
Yeah, but the triangle was still a pretty strong offense, right?
But that was not his. That was Tex Winter's offense.
For sure, but he was still implementing it and coaching it and developing it within the system of his players.
No, he had Tex do that.
Okay.
So
he can't have any credit even though
I don't know if you've read Phil's book.
Right.
I don't know if you've read Phil's book, but Phil himself is like, this is Texas thing. I believed in it, and I got them to run it because I believed in it.
I guess the argument I'm not making is that Phil was like the creator of that play. I think the point I'm trying to say is that's part of the coaching emphasis, and I think the management of personalities is more critical than the X's and O's, especially
for who he had to deal with.
Well, and I think moving forward in the NBA, that's going to be more paramount than any other factor.
I mean, the thing is, like, Mike made Phil into the guru he became, and then he proved that he could sustain it in LA.
Right. Well, even like today, like you look at Spoelstra, like Eric Spoelstra just totally led those guys with Jimmy Butler and then a bunch of like rookies and young guys.
A good coach.
Spoelstra knows what he's doing, but he manages personalities too because he had Jimmy Butler.
But who's a
nightmare.
No, Jimmy. But say that. But Jimmy Butler was not a nightmare in Chicago.
He was a nightmare in Minnesota, man. They hate him up here. They hate him.
No, you know why they hate him? Because they had a team full of soft guys with no heart.
Oh, I believe you. I'm not a Wolves fan. They hate is that he called him out and then he picked the third team up in practice and then whooped up on him.
Yes.
And then walked out and said, "Trade me."
Because Jimmy's a baller. I love Jimmy.
Yeah,
like,
Jimmy's awesome.
If I could get Jimmy in Detroit, trade Blake Griffin. I don't trade the whole squad.
Oh, that's
Give
right.
me
You guys have
Jimmy
Blake Griffin.
buckets, man. That's dude. But so coaching, yes, Mike has an advantage, but people like to gloss over the fact that Braun went to Miami, and no,
Spoelstra was good, man. Spoelstra's good.
Spoelstra's good, but Pat Riley may not have been the coach, but let's not act like Pat Riley didn't coach LeBron in certain ways.
I still hold that it's more Spoelstra. I still hold to that.
He tried to get Spoelstra fired. Who do you think corralled him from trying to get Spoelstra fired?
I still would. He tried to get Spoelstra fired because he was younger in his career. Spoelstra now is proving he's elite. He is.
I don't think people consider Spoelstra elite until this run, because a lot of people say that LeBron. Well, he had LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh. They're like, okay, you have that. You should make it the finals. Like I know Heat fans.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Heat fans say if you can't make the finals with those guys, then you're trash and you're not that good. He proved this season that he is that good of a coach. Mm-hmm. And also Riley, again, he wasn't on the bench, but he
he's influencing.
He had a whole lot to do with LeBron winning them titles and influencing and teaching him how to have a winning culture. Mike created the winning culture day one when he got to Chicago.
Yeah,
because that team was still trying to tank. They were not trying to win, and Mike was like, "Yo, I'm here to win. If y'all ain't here to win, then you in the wrong place."
Expletive.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Words we don't say on the show. But I like. But yes, Bron. He was not better than Bird to me. And again, my point was LeBron makes himself the system. Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson played within the system, and that allowed them to maximize not only themselves and put up Hall of Fame numbers, but others. When you play with D Wade, Kyrie, Bosh, Love, all of them, their numbers go down. They don't put up Hall of Fame numbers when they play.
He doesn't
LeBron.
elevate them, right?
He doesn't elevate them. He elevates role players. They look better, but other stars do not. Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Hall of Fame guys who got Hall of Fame numbers while Bird was getting his Hall of Fame numbers. Same with Scottie.
I can work with that.
Same with Magic. Magic made. Look, I love James Worthy, but Magic made James Worthy the Hall of Famer that he is, because James wasn't going to be that Hall of Famer if he doesn't have Magic feeding him the way he does. Like, when you can put up those numbers and you have other stars that still look like stars, that puts you in that upper echelon. So that's why I had Bird over Bron. That fourth championship and the way he's done it, obviously the numbers and all that. Now I have him above Bird, but he ain't gonna go above Kareem, and he ain't gonna go above Mike. Now I will say this before I end this tangent. Because I enjoy these debates. I was hoping LeBron would have made a real strong case for GOAT in Miami, because I believe that all 4 years they had the best team. If they would have four-peated, then you have an extremely strong case for LeBron to argue as GOAT, because he would have done something that nobody in the modern, post-'80s, post-merger had done, is four-peat. Mike, and that was one of the big things when Mike three-peated. He was like, look, I'm not saying I'm better than Isaiah. I'm not saying I'm better than Bird. I'm not saying I'm better than Magic. But I have done this that they could not do. None of those guys three-peated. Bird never won back-to-back. The Pistons repeated. The Lakers repeated. But people weren't three-peating. Three-peating became a thing.
A decade of finals appearances is a heck of a feat. And I think people are going to have to own that eventually.
No, they do. But however, when you get there, you've got to win. And when
Agreed.
When you lose, and when
nobody cares about second place.
And not even that is, and when you've been swept multiple times,
I agree.
And you're supposed to be that. So like,
I'm just saying that argument is, in my opinion, very fair, and I think it speaks to the longevity of his career.
Absolutely. But my other thing with that, unfortunately, is he does play in a watered down league because of continued expansion. But,
yeah, we'll see.
But
if the Warriors
can't help the era that you play in either. Like you can only play the competition you play in.
The Warriors are pretty good. There's some elite players here, but it's not the stacked teams like it used to be.
Well, that's because there's more teams.
Correct.
The 80s had less teams, so you had more talent on those teams. Every team had a star back then. We've got teams right now where no one can even name anybody.
No.
Like here's Orlando Magic. I mean, the biggest name on Orlando is Aaron Gordon, and that's because of dunking.
Sorry.
Aaron Gordon's the biggest name he has for Orlando, and that's because of the dunk contest, not because of how good of a player he is, but because he can dunk. Where
I can't argue.
Yeah, where back in the day, like every team had at least one bona fide star player. You can't say that now with all these expansions that have taken place since '89,
right? Essentially,
when Orlando and Charlotte and Miami and Minnesota came into the league, and then the new Charlotte, and it's like you keep on fitting that herd. But when you had 26 teams and you had all these guys on them, and they were going to war, and nowadays no one wants to go to war.
No, they don't.
So, and it's tough. But I love Bron. I give him his props. I give him his flowers. I'm not going to overrate him because other guys have gone to 9, 10 finals and all that stuff. And the thing about Bron is not even him; it's his fans who like to just. There was a post out there on the internet that said LeBron has 56% chance of making the finals of his career, and Michael Jordan only made 54% of his field goals. So that's so amazing stat. I'm like, what? Why are we comparing field goal percentage to the percentage of chance to make the finals? That's idiotic.
That makes zero sense.
See, that's why Bron's the GOAT. That's why Bron's the GOAT. He has a better chance of making the finals than Jordan had of making a shot. So I was like, okay, that's stupid. Here, let's do this. Sam Jones, he went to the finals. Let's see, 92% of the time of his career. Let's compare that to LeBron's free throw shooting. LeBron's a 70% free throw shooter of his career.
Right.
Sam Jones went to the finals 90% of the time in his career. It's idiotic. So my thing ain't Bron is not Bron himself. It's his fans. Like, you know,
the fans are toxic.
and Nick Wright out there just making things up on television.
Oh, Nick Wright.
Yeah. But let's talk about a different GOAT. Let's talk about football GOATs. Who is your football GOAT? And I'm talking about GOAT.
It's
player.
Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady?
It's Tom Brady. That's the
not
end of the
Tom
discussion.
I did not expect that.
Wow.
It was either,
Tom
okay.
Brady.
So when I heard you lived in Jersey, I was like, oh man, because Lawrence Taylor is number 2 for me, right? It's Tom Brady or Lawrence Taylor. That's right now my strong list. And then as I've thought out loud about it, Jerry Rice was in my mind too.
Thank you.
And so that's really where I'm landing. But I'm landing on Tom Brady for a few reasons. One, this season is going to solidify that Tom Brady is the best. The Patriots look abysmal. They look horrible. And Cam Newton is a very good quarterback.
He's not the leader that Tom is, though.
He's not.
Yeah, he does not have a leadership.
I'm not in the room to judge Cam Newton's leadership ability. So I'm not going to speak to that.
No,
but I can
we've
speak.
seen it on TV. We love Cam.
Look, my Twitter header is Cam Newton when he's like leaning back and he's like I mean, I'm a big Cam Newton. Yes, I'm a very big Cam Newton fan, actually. But I think with Tom Brady, what I really appreciate is again the same, and it's the same conversation I think with like LeBron in the sense of longevity of career. To keep the excellence rolling at the age he has. I mean, we kind of saw Peyton. To see Peyton have a couple of good years towards the end there with Denver, but then kind of fade. That's not happening with Tom. And he's elevating Tampa Bay. Obviously, they're bringing everybody in. But I think Tom Brady is really the best. And I think the quarterback is the most unfair position because it gets all the criticism, but also all the glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. You win or lose with the quarterback.
But there's only like 50 people that can do it on the planet very well. And
True.
I mean, and that's so I just think that really sets them apart. So I'd say Tom Brady. Lawrence Taylor is incredible. In regards to physical raw talent, it's Lawrence Taylor. But in regards to football player, I am going to say Tom Brady. I think for the longest time I was fighting it, but I'm staying Tom Brady. If he wins this year, I don't know how people are going to fight it. This year in particular is kind of like the nail in the coffin, but I think the argument can be made already.
The quarterback GOAT, if he wins this year, the quarterback GOAT debate is over. Like as much as Montana's 4-0 is impressive, winning 7 in 2 cities, and winning a 7th at 43 years old, like that is and also unlike LeBron, who is 4-6, he's 6. No. I mean, this is a knock to LeBron, but
we're back on LeBron.
No. I mean, this is not a knock.
We
This
both
is
did
just
it.
a
It's okay.
comparison.
I did it too.
LeBron is 4-6. Brady is 6-4. Going to that many makes you look better when you have one more than you've lost.
There's a way bigger difference too with going to a Super Bowl 10 times,
right?
Than going to an NBA Final 10 times.
So hard.
Yeah.
That's just insane amount of Super Bowl appearances that he has.
It's one or done in the NFL, which was what makes the NFL so special.
Yeah. Right.
But I would say that in regards to just raw talent though, I'd have to speak to Lawrence Taylor of just like nobody has edge rushed and played coverage as well as that cat could. And when you can get Bill Belichick to say that's the best player I've ever coached, that's a pretty strong endorsement for me to be on the list.
My only thing about LT is how much of that was cocaine. And not just jokingly, but how much of that was because you can do a whole lot of crazy feats when you're on cocaine. You've got a lot of energy, you got a lot of juice when you're on that white powder. And again, I have the deepest respect for LT because he was just such a dominant player, and he was the first one to really solidify that this defensive player is changing the entire aspect of the game and taking away. You're not going to go to his side because why would you run at Lawrence Taylor? Like it doesn't make any sense. So I completely understand where you're coming from there. I go with Jerry Rice personally because he has Wayne Gretzky-like numbers where he has the wins.
In an era where he shouldn't have.
In an era where you've got guys who've played a complete era in a pass happy, where they're passing 50% of the time or higher, when he was playing in an era where you threw 30% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he still has the numbers and the receptions and the touchdowns. It's like if he plays in this era, it's astronomical. But he got those numbers in a run first, run second, throw third era. So it's like what? And he's just such a natural player, great talent, and he also was so great, like Brady, at a later age 40 in Oakland, helping that team make the Super Bowl as a 40-year-old starting wide receiver.
Right.
Like that. He's up there from. But those are.
It's
feel
tough.
you.
It's a tough list.
It's a tough one.
I'm not refuting Jerry Rice either. I can't I get it.
But Brady, if Brady wins another one, to me that would put him over LT for me, and him and Jerry would be battling out 1 and 2 for me, and it's really tough. It's
crazy, man.
It's
insane.
It is crazy. And if Barry Sanders wasn't retired, good God. I'm sorry. I won't. Let's
just rip the Band-Aid off, man.
Let's shift to the geek world. So Max, what is your biggest fandom on the geek side? Like what part from geek side really, like, someone looks at it and says, okay, well, yeah, I get it. He's a geek.
I mean, for me, it's been Marvel the last five years. I mean, when I was younger, it was really like this is a super deep cut. Power Rangers stuff was like my jam as a kid.
That's
so
okay.
like that resurgence is coming. Oh, I'm not apologizing for it. I was just like deep cut. It's coming back. Like, it's really coming back. Like, they're getting movies and stuff, and I think the TV shows are kind of getting back into mainstream a little bit for kids. But like, just Power Rangers was really fun as a kid, and that kind of opened doors to like this kind of stuff. But I think Marvel just has been great because it's not just geeky and fun. It's enmeshed in the culture. It's enmeshed in day-to-day lives. It's speaking to things that are very difficult to talk about in a way that's unique. And in particular with the MCU, the two movies that come to my mind on that subject today more than ever are Black Panther and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And just those two movies,
My two favorite movies.
Literally what those two movies mean culturally right now to what's going on are massive. And so I just so Marvel for me is my shtick, and I love it. I'm not ashamed of it. But I'd say Power Rangers is like the deep cut for those that are like looking really deep. I love a good my buddies love Dragon Ball Z more than I do. But if that stuff's on, I'll watch it. There's a ton of nerdy things I'll watch, but those two things, Power Rangers and MCU, are like massive hits for me and my family. Our basement's like covered with Marvel stuff.
That's awesome.
It's insane. It's ridiculous.
Awesome.
It's ridiculous.
So we won't debate on this one. So this is gonna be a quick one, hopefully.
Oh no.
Yeah,
who's the GOAT Ranger? Who is your top Ranger? Your favorite Ranger?
Oh gosh, it's the White Ranger, right? It's got to be Tommy as the White Ranger.
You said white though. So
yeah, I know. Some people could say green.
Right,
I get the debate.
Older heads like me, we say green generally.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know how you could do that, but okay, I'm nervous just talking about that. It's white, right? Like, you just got a all White Ranger. We're all in. I was on a pot.
I'm with you on the
No
White
question.
Ranger. I love the Green Ranger. I love Green Ranger, but then
you knew things were serious when the flute popped out.
Which one? So are you really picking white over green though?
I'm with white. I'm with Max on this.
Okay, that's
white.
okay.
I'm still rolling white, yeah.
Well, see, I'm old enough to remember when Power Rangers first came out, and there was no green or white Ranger. So my favorite Ranger was Zach, the Black Ranger, because he was the most like me, and my man was always wearing Malcolm X gear. So I
actually did. I identify more with Zach, but I just couldn't. The white Tiger Zord, man.
The Tiger Zord was dope, but I liked Jason better as Green Ranger because I liked, even when he turned good, I always liked that there was a hint that he would sometimes go a little too far. He could always go back to being evil. I liked that story-wise, and it was just cool. And the Dragon Zord was dope.
The Dragon Zord was cool.
And the Dragon Zord has definitely more fans than the White Tiger Zord.
They needed to keep Zach around way longer. That guy left way too early from the show.
Yeah.
He needed to stay for a couple more seasons. He's still a fan favorite. He
Oh,
is
yeah.
he is a dynamite follow on Instagram. An absolute dynamite follow on Instagram. He is great.
He's
If
probably doing the best fan wise,
dude.
of the original 5.
And he deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it. Every dollar he makes, he deserves.
Yes.
Like
Shout out
if
to
I
Walter.
saw him on the street, I'd freak out.
You probably freak out. You probably freak out how short he is.
Take a picture with me. I would know.
You probably be like, dude, you're that small. How short are you? You know he's Wayne Brady's half brother.
No way. I did not
yes,
know that.
Walter Jones is Wayne Brady's half brother.
He's so much cooler.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't think Walter Jones could get cooler to me, but he
took him
just
off
got
another-
cooler.
Right. He just took him on another note.
Right? There needs to be like a part 2 of Wayne Brady's Chappelle skit with Walter Jones
Yes.
in it.
100%.
I need to see that.
Wayne Brady's the man.
So you mentioned some things that you'll dig, that you'll watch, whatever, if they're on. Being that you've got your bros on your podcast, what fandom do they wish you were more enthusiastic about?
Star Wars. And so
Yes.
So this is great. So like Matt, you and I were on a podcast a couple weeks ago. This is hilarious. This is a great story.
And we got to talk Star Wars.
Yes. And I am bottom 5% of people you want to talk Star Wars with in regards to nerd culture. I know enough to get by the conversation, but you don't want me coming with you on trivia night. Like I'm not your guy. I'm not going to help at all.
Oh man, I really should prepare some trivia questions.
Oh gosh. So on that episode we were on, Tony was like, all right, I'm gonna pull up characters of Star Wars, obscure characters, and you got to name the characters. And I'm like pooping my pants, right? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get any of these right, and they're all gonna make people I don't know are gonna make fun of me. And the game ended up being more fun, where it was like, say who they aren't, like make a funny joke about
it.
Their
Wrong answers only, which was
the
great.
Star Wars thing. I was like, I like Star Wars. I got no issue with it, and we had a great conversation about Star Wars on the episode. You got to go check that out. But Star Wars is the thing, and everybody loves it so much. And honestly, I just kind of don't get it a little bit. Like there's a part of me that doesn't really fully get it. And even my buddies on my podcast, the Infinity Bros, like they're just obsessed with this stuff. Like The Mandalorian comes out, and they stay up till like 12 to watch it. I'm like, what are you doing? Yep. I'm like, what are you? It'll be on tomorrow. What are you doing? Come on. I don't get it.
Right there, that's a guy who's going to stay up till midnight to watch it.
Oh,
Yes, I know.
I've stayed up all night and binge watched like series.
So you're big on
like
Star Wars.
Clone
You're big
Wars
Star Wars.
series.
Oh, it's Clone Wars.
He's bigger on Star
huge.
Wars than I am. Yeah, he's huge.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. So much of this room is like Star Wars.
That's
stuff,
awesome.
and I can just grab stuff. I don't know.
He can't beat my toy though. I still have the best toy. As
Yeah,
you
the
saw
R2D2,
on
that's
the
sweet.
show.
He's got the R2D2.
That's right.
But that's only because I couldn't convince my parents to pay that much money for it.
I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
I can't convince myself to pay that much money for that right now. I don't blame your parents money less. So like, were you big on reading like the books then too? Like and all the canon stuff?
Yeah, I got into the books like later.
Oh my gosh.
Because like my Star Wars story actually started in high school. I wasn't really into Star Wars like that until like high school when the prequels started coming out. And my science teacher at the time, we were in like this small, I was like talking about nerds. So I was in this like science research class, and it was like 5 of us in the class, and you had to like interview to get in, and like you had to get recommendations from teachers and whatever. So obviously we had a lot of time to just talk because it was just the 5 of us in this class, and we did independent research and stuff like that. So this was my sophomore year in high school, and the teacher of the class, like he was a huge Star Wars nerd. And so when the prequels was coming out, like every day we would go to class, and he's just like talking about Star Wars and how he can't wait till the prequel comes out and like all this stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I had no idea what was going on. So my dad was like, hey, I got the Star Wars like DVDs. And I'm
Okay.
like, oh, cool. I finally get to find out what this is all
Okay.
about. And I started watching them, and I just like fell in love with the stories and the like everything. And I was just like, and I think part of it too was like his enthusiasm for it, like, you know, just kind of rubbed off on me, because I was just like, oh, now I can go to school and I can talk about this stuff and like not be lost in the conversation. So that's how I got into it. And then from there, I just like, I love to read like science fiction, fantasy, and all that stuff. So then I was like, I want more Star Wars. So then, of course, you go to the books and you start finding all the fan fiction and all the lore and all this other stuff. And you're like, oh, like it goes so deep. And I was like, I was one of those guys.
Oh, dude,
who,
love it. You'd fit in. You would literally fit in with our guys in my buddy's pod. All my other buddies in the podcast, like one of them, Jarrett, like he makes these little Star Wars action figures and like paints them. Like this is like the culture of Star Wars that I don't understand in the slightest. And like I love it. I think Star Wars is fun to go watch. I'll go see the movies, but like the depth is like too much.
It's just when you really get into like the deep, I mean, it's changed now with the whole Disney taking over and relaunching everything. But when you get into the deep lore of like what they're calling now the expanded universe or the legendary universe, or whatever they're calling it now, that's what really kind of gets you.
Yeah,
in there.
The good stuff that Disney
like
ignored or just forgot existed.
Yeah, because like when you started looking at like the Old Republic and like all that stuff, it's like that's what like the real stories are. Where you're just like, oh man, this is amazing, this is great, and then like, you know, you get to see all these different worlds and you get to see all the different types of Jedis and Sith Lords and all this stuff. Yeah, I can talk about this all day, but
the Jedi Academy, the Sith Academy,
I don't blame you.
Korriban, Dantooine.
Yeah, like there's so much in there that it just takes you down that kind of, you know, like most fantasy, you get into like the lore, like that's what draws everybody to fantasy, right? Is the lore and the backstories and the world building and all that. And so like that's what the Legends kind of gave to us Star Wars fans. It was like it gave us what the movies did. Yeah. Because you're like, you know, you see the movies and you're kind of like, once you see the movies, you're like, okay, but what was happening on all these other worlds? Right. You know? And that's what the books gave you. They gave you all of that. And you're just like, oh, okay. And then you get to see, and then when they start tying that into the movies, then you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, he mentioned this master. And you're like, okay, I remember that master from the book. And like, you know, stuff like that. And then you like, it all connects. And then, it just makes for a good story. But, which I like to see that Disney's now kind of bringing some of that stuff back into.
Well, they have to, because their writing has been horrid.
Which is what we talked about in that podcast. Yes. We were just raking them through we were just pulling them through. We were like, Disney, get it together.
Well, it's
The Mandalorian's sweet though.
The Mandalorian is sweet.
The Mandalorian,
and honestly,
great.
Max, because you enjoy The Mandalorian, if there's one thing I think that would also help increase your fandom, it would be playing Knights of the Old Republic.
Dude, you're like the fifth person to tell me that. Because like so many people tell me I should play that game.
Trust me, as someone who owns it on 3 different platforms, the game is entirely fun. Now, it's from like 2003. So
sweet.
It's an old BioWare game, so it's good. It's got a great story. Obviously, it's going to be a little clunky because of just the fact that it's an old game.
Yeah, it's polygons.
Yeah, but it's an amazing story. And the beauty of it is that not only is it an amazing story, but it's not about the Skywalkers. And that's part of the problem with Star Wars right now, is everything is still focused on the Skywalker story and not around other great Star Wars stories. But Knights of the Old Republic, trust me, that will help you be like, hey, you know what? I kind of get it. Now, you may not start making figurines. I'm not there.
I'll leave that for my buddies. I'll let them handle that.
I am not going to make figurines. I don't have the dexterity to make figurines. It ain't going to happen.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to happen. But I will read a book. I might write a fan fiction or two, something like that. Past episodes of the show, we have postulated what could be in Star Wars.
Like they're talking about these 3 new books that are coming out. They're supposed to be centered around the. Is it the Old Republic?
No, I wish it was, but it's not. It's the New Republic,
I think. But yeah, we were me and some guys that I used to work with, we were like geeking out about it, and we were like, oh, if they make movies with the Old Republic, like that's what I really want to see. I want to see the movies do the Old Republic.
How stoked are you for Ahsoka to be in The Mandalorian?
Extremely.
So excited.
Because everyone's freaking out about that,
excited.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, because
wait.
she's probably everyone's favorite non-Skywalker Jedi.
right.
Like,
She's never became a Jedi.
yeah, but she's a Force. Yeah,
walked away.
but she still can. But she's still
She's
a
a Force
Jedi.
user.
But you know,
No, she never became a Jedi.
Well,
She said
according
it.
to the
She's not a
Google
Jedi.
search, it says she's a former Jedi. That's what it says on Google. I can only
Well,
tell
she
you
was
what's
in
she was in
training.
training. Yes, so
That's what Google says.
So she
training.
was one. I mean, she was a Padawan. That makes you a Jedi. She just never reached the rank of a master, much like another famous Padawan who never reached the rank of master.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
she was a Jedi. She just left. She
But
left the
says-
order.
She says it in the.
Just like, you know, but so many other great characters have left the order. Kyle Katarn left the order. Jolie Bindo from Knights of the Republic left the order. Like, we actually like a lot of the characters who left the order.
Because you know why? Because the Jedi Order. Well,
We're not going to get into
I'm
that.
not gonna
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
It'll be another hour.
I'm just going to smile and act like I know what's going on.
No, but my Max, I would say definitely. You have an Xbox, right?
I don't. I just have
You don't?
PS4.
You have the PS4. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is.
Do you have
if
an iPad?
If you're really interested.
If you have an iPad, I think the game is like $5 on iOS.
Well, maybe I'll check it out on the iPad then.
Yeah, because I have it on iOS
Also-
and I have it on my MacBook, and I have
That
it
actually
on
sounds like
Xbox.
a very fun game for $5 on my iPad. I'm not gonna lie to you. For the low cost of $5, that makes me want it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great
It
story.
is fantastic.
If you don't want to play the game, you can just like. I found one time I watched it, I was really bored.
No, you're in
You
good
watched the
company.
game-
These
you
are the
watched
things
the
I do too.
walkthrough, the
No,
gameplay?
this is
It was
very
on-
good company.
Yeah,
I appreciate
it
this.
was it was on YouTube, and someone cut together all the cutscenes
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
and made it into one long like.
That's
movie.
awesome.
It was pretty cool. It was like 20 minutes.
That is
long,
legit.
but, yeah, and it's like, hey, I don't have to play the game, but I get to see
Love it.
the whole story of, the.
No,
Knights
I
of
was
the
right.
Love it.
$4.99 on the app store.
I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into it.
Get it. It's worth
That's
it.
sweet, dude.
Well,
That's a great
we'll-
deal.
But yeah, it was a
Yes.
great game.
And if you
It's
don't
still
like it,
one of,
I
like,
will
the
give
top-
you your $5 back.
No.
Enjoy
No,
it.
I'll
Enjoyment
give my buddies a
guaranteed.
hard time if I don't like it. That's what's going to happen, and then that'll create more content for our show. It'll be
Let's
wonderful.
see. There you
They're
go.
gonna be so excited.
They'll be so hyped.
They're gonna be so.
They'll
excited
probably-
to hear
if they-
you're
if- don't
playing
tell them-
They're gonna be
because-
like, "What show did they go to? We need to send them a gift basket and thank them."
Yeah, we'll take the edible arrangement basket. Those are healthy.
Edible arrangement. Yeah, send an edible arrangement over.
So
to
speaking
the Jeek
speaking
Nation
of your
podcast.
friends at the Infinity Bros podcast, how did that get started?
So, like a lot of podcasts, right? Just a couple buddies that think we can actually talk about stuff. So I was a radio minor in college. I actually had an internship lined up with a local sports radio station here.
Nice.
And kind of chose a different career path.
Explains the voice.
Yes, I was going to do radio. And
we found we found another voiceover actor. Let's mark that down.
there we go, voiceover actor.
I was like, because when we first started talking, I was like, man, his mic presence is incredible.
Yeah,
I need to work on mine.
I can navigate my way through a mic. So I was like, hey guys, we should all get microphones and do this. And I said, I'll edit it. And so one of my other buddies, Isaac, who kind of runs all of our social media stuff, was really passionate about that and has really taken it. And I mean, it's just kind of grown. I mean, we have a deep community like you guys. We call it the Infinity Bros universe. It's very deep. It's everywhere. It's infinite. And so like Jeek Nation podcast is part of the Infinity Bros universe. And so like that's just how we are. So it started just like with kind of us just getting out there and doing something, but it's really exploded and ballooned into this like I'm really talking with people I've never met in my life on a computer that I'm having a time of my life. This is fantastic. And so, that's kind of how we got started. I think for us, we just really, we like talking about these things, but we want a healthy way to utilize this as opposed to sitting around the proverbial campfire or the proverbial game night table having the same discussions over and over. Our wives need a break from hearing it. So thus we're here, and it's a much better time when I can close my door and my wife can go upstairs and go to bed and not worry about what's going on here. So it works, yeah. But it really runs because of the people on it. I mean, my friends are hilarious. They're ridiculous, and but everybody kind of does their own thing. Like, we do stuff on streaming. There's 6 of us, so it's just nice. We can do streaming stuff. We can do a couple episodes a week. Like, we kind of are able to get more quantity done versus people who have 2 or 3. That's hard. It's just hard to create content. And so,
yeah, we know.
So like, it's just nice. Like, somebody will go on one day, somebody will go on another day. And then, like, Jarrett, one of our other guys, he'll run our Discord channel. And just like, it just kind of flows well. So I think it's a unique blend of friendship, passion for the things we're talking about, just like you guys are talking about, but also, just building community. It's fun to build community with people across the world that you don't know. And it's exciting to bring them in and part of your extended universe. That's kind of how we look at it. So, yeah, I'd say that's how it is. That's a long-winded answer.
That's awesome.
That's a fantastic
That'll work.
answer. That was great. Yeah, I think we're in a similar boat. With 2 guys that we were like, yeah, we're always debating and arguing about this stuff.
Let's put it out there.
Let's just put it on. Yeah. I'm sure there are other people like us. The other thing with us too is just like the culture that we grew up in, both of us. It was just like there was no place for us. There's no place for this cool kid kind of jock who was also a nerd who liked to read fantasy books and talk about
comic books and
D&D.
anime.
It's exciting that's changing. That's like changing now.
It is, but then it's like, in some ways, I kind of hate it.
It was your thing. You weren't there. You don't know what it was like.
You weren't. It's like the old Kobe. Like, you weren't shooting. You weren't shooting when we.
No, you were not.
Yeah, you weren't there when it was cool.
Crazy story here. So with my job, I work with high school kids and just get to know a lot of high school kids. I was at a family's house that I'm really close with, and one of their students, their son's his ninth grader. He's in his garage and he's got like 4 girls and 2 kids in there, 2 guys in there. I'm like, what are they doing? And he goes, Brandon's just doing that's his Dungeons and Dragons group. He was outnumbered 4 girls to 3 guys as the dungeon master in his group. And I was like, wow. That is a sign of the times.
Yes.
Things have changed mightily.
Yeah.
Drastic.
Yeah, because if
it was like my
man.
In
the '80s, if you said you played Dungeons and Dragons, one, you were you were definitely in the Satanic Church,
for sure.
And two, no woman was going to talk to you,
for sure.
Yeah,
crazy, like, insane.
That was not going to work.
I remember this is like middle school. This kid that he was nerdy and kind of just like kept to himself and stuff like that, and like, but he could draw like really well, and so like he used to just kind of just sit around, and just drawing and stuff like that. And I remember he used to have like, he used to walk around with the Magic the Gathering cards, and like he'd be like playing and like reorganizing his deck and stuff like that. So one day, like, I'm talking to him and I'm like, yo, what is that? And so he's like explaining it to me, and I was like, that sounds like fun. Like, it sounds cool, right?
That sounds amazing. And, can I play?
Yeah, I was like, can I play? Like, so he's like teaching me. Like, we were on the bus or thing, and he was like teaching me how to play and like, the point system and all that stuff. And I was like, this is a lot of fun. I'm like, but who am I gonna play with? Because like all my friends are gonna be like, you're a nerd. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing? So I used to like sneak like after school and like go play with him. Like,
That's
we would go, like,
awesome.
Play behind
that is so awesome.
Like, meet me underneath the bleachers.
Like,
for sure. It's insane.
Because it was like, it was oddly enough, like I was pretty popular in school. I guess probably because I played sports, but I also was super nerdy and like I said, straight A's, and I was on all like AP classes and stuff like that. So it was like, it was always weird. Like, I remember my friends would be like, wait, you're smart? Like, because they'd just be like, I didn't know, like, like, especially like when report card time would come around or whatever, and they're like, oh man, I got a D or whatever, and they're like, Dave, what'd you get? And I'm like, A's and B's, or honor roll, or straight A's or whatever. And they're like,
you were literally the definition of a nerd.
Yeah, I was.
That's hilarious.
And like I used to geek out about science stuff and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that was my little funny story. Like, yeah, it wasn't cool to play Magic the Gathering. You know, I had to go sneak behind the like under the bleachers.
I love it.
I remember, I think I still have them actually. Like I bought like a deck, and like I like hid it from like my friends, and my brother, because my brother's like a year and a half. Well, no, he's 2 years younger than me. So, you know, we had the same friends and stuff like that. And like I would like hide it in my room, like so nobody would find.
I love that. That's awesome.
Oh man, my story is very similar to that, but I won't go into it. But needless to say, most people did not share my enthusiasm for Star Trek or anime, especially in the 80s. Like I was watching, I was watching Christian anime, Superbook and Flying House, and then I was also watching. I love Superbook and Flying House. I loved it. I'm a grown man. My kids ain't even watch it no more because they're preteens. I still watch it. But I was also watching Robotech, and Dragon Ball Z. 'Cause that's I mean it's technically an 80s cartoon, 80s anime. So I was watching all that stuff, and guys in the football team, guys in the basketball team that never heard of it, let alone understood it. They were not going to watch anything with subtitles. Watching martial arts movies that weren't dubbed was too hard for them. So,
oh my gosh,
yeah. So, I just didn't. I had to play both sides. So, like Dine said, we were having these conversations, and I was like, "Hey, let's just record it and see if anybody listens." And
I love it.
We've been having fun, and we've been doing it since. And whether people were listening or not, we keep recording. So,
hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
but it's expanded.
It has expanded.
It's definitely become popular. I mean, how many people we got in our group now?
280, I think. Last time I had to prove somebody.
I didn't realize this many Jeeks were out there.
Oh, there's more.
There's more, and then we're trying to get them to come out the closet, trying to embrace their inner Jeek
closet.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can only be one or the other. You can't be both, apparently.
But no, we break that mold.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Well, you know what? I mean, I got to give it to Marvel for definitely helping with that.
Well, see, but some of that animosity has come out because of Marvel. Because now, they're like, people come up to me and like, yeah, so-and-so was great, and I love that character. I'm like, man, you wouldn't listen to me talk about that character ever, 5 years ago. Like, what are you talking about? They want to correct you on
Ant-Man's such a good movie. You could have cared less. You were mocking Ant-Man years ago.
I'm like, Ant-Man, you talking? Because, see, when people say Ant-Man now, they're talking about Scott Lang. When I say Ant-Man, I'm talking about Hank Pym.
Yep.
Hank Pym.
So I was in a conversation with somebody before Black Panther came out. Mm-hmm. And I told them, I said, you are going to see a movement you've never seen before with Black Panther after this movie comes out. I said, there's going to be people that are going to claim they're from Wakanda moving forward. I said that like a year before, and he's like, why would they say that? I'm like, because the history of America says they're going to say that, right? Like, because they don't have anything else to say. So they're going to say Wakanda. And sure enough, what happened? Wakanda Forever happened. There it is. And Jiminy Christmas.
Didn't Trump say something about like Wakanda or something?
Everybody says something about Wakanda. Some
politician was like, "Yeah, we've got to keep our trade, whatever, Wakanda." And people were like, "Dude, you realize Wakanda's not real, right?"
and Wakanda probably wouldn't be trading with you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't really trade with anybody. That's kind of how they are.
Wakanda's gonna be like, yeah,
right. That's kind of how it works.
That's how they roll. But no, I mean, like
it's.
It is interesting how Marvel's done that. It's been really interesting to see, and we'll see. I mean, how long can they go? It's a real question.
If they build Wakanda Land in Walt Disney World, I'm just going to move there.
That's coming. That's totally down the way. That's coming.
They would be foolish to not try.
At this point, just build a Marvel world.
But no one wants to live in a Marvel
universe.
Yeah. No, because the Marvel universe is not a fun place to live. If you make it Wakanda, that's one thing because it's always been hidden and protected and safe. The rest of the Marvel world is not a fun place to live. That would not.
That's
be
fair.
Nice. You don't want.
You don't want to go to.
guess.
Nah, I don't want to live in on Earth 616.
You don't want to go to Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, Harlem's bad enough as it is.
Are you
Hell's
sure?
Kitchen, like, yeah, I ain't trying to.
We
live
could make
there.
a fictional Hell's Kitchen where it's always dark and raining.
Yeah, see, yeah, I ain't trying to live.
I think
there.
it'd be great.
Always dark and raining.
Well, that's gonna be.
That's the only way he can see. If it's
Yeah.
Or if you're Daredevil, and he can't truly see anyway. So that's
Yeah.
Or if you're drunk like Jessica Jones.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. You're hanging with the drunk chick or you're hanging with the blind guy. And, yeah. It's
Exactly.
and
and occasionally you see Spider-Man.
occasionally Spider-Man comes through Hell's Kitchen or in Punisher. That's fun. You better hope you didn't jaywalk that day before you get a cap busted in you. Well, we're going to move on to, amazingly, to our What Are You PWC, playing, watching, or creating. We're going to talk about playing. We know what Max is going to be playing. Max is going
Apparently.
to be playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
And then if I'm him, I'm not going to tell his
Starting.
co-hosts because they'll probably get on him about it. And they'll probably make you, like, record it and, like, put it on YouTube or something. But definitely play the game.
Stream it.
But Unique DNA, what have you been playing lately? Or the past week?
What have I played this week? Oh man, what did I play this week? Oh, I was playing No Man's Sky.
That's
again.
okay.
I am addicted.
That
to
is okay as well.
I confess.
I probably
I'm
still have more
just
money
confess.
than you, but that's all right.
You probably do, and that's all well and good. I worked hard.
Yes,
for
I did
mine.
not.
I didn't get a silver spoon shoved in my mouth like
Like
some people.
me.
Yikes.
I'm that person.
Worked hard for my stuff. I do need to move my base very soon though because my planet has
It changed your
plan.
I see.
Um,
Yeah. So Max looks really lost.
Did yours change?
No Man's Sky is like solo Star Trek. It's a beautiful, fantastic game that you can get on Xbox, Steam, or on the PS4 if you have Game Pass, which I have now. You can play No Man's Sky right now because it is on Game Pass.
Is it? Oh,
Yes, there's a lot of things on Game Pass. So I have Game Pass. I just said that. I have Game Pass now, but you did not know that, Unique DNA. I now have Game Pass.
I did it.
I was streaming with some of our friends that love Thy Nerd, and we were playing Destiny. They wanted some help getting the Xenophage exotic machine gun. I had done it, so like I'll walk you through it, but I did not have Shadowkeep because I was still playing the free-to-play version on Xbox. And I was like, wait, Game Pass is only $1 for the first month. Maybe I'll just sign up. So I signed up, and Game Pass told me that because I have Xbox Gold, which carries over to 2021, that after that $1, I'm not going to get charged that $14.99 until October 2021. So now I pretty much have a year of Game Pass that's already been paid for.
That's
Pretty sweet. And I've never played Gears of War. They're all four of them in Game Pass. I've never played, even though I have an original Xbox, I've never played Halo. I'm now going to start playing Halo.
Halo reminds me so much.
Well,
of
that's because
Destiny.
Bungie made Halo and Bungie
Well, yeah,
Destiny.
I
So I'm going to play some Halos I've never played, and I played Fable 1, but never played Fable 2 or 3, so I'm going to play that too. And there is a
you didn't miss much.
whole ton of stuff on Game Pass that I am now going to play, and I'm quite excited
Impressive.
because I did not expect that I was going to play
I
any of
probably
those.
should get Game Pass.
You should probably get it, especially since you're planning on getting the system. You should probably get it.
I mean, yeah, and I still have my Xbox.
That's
So,
true.
Even
Even though you don't, you haven't touched that thing in like a year.
I mean, once I started gaming on PC, it was just like PC. Or
Oh Lord, here we go with the PC Master Race stuff. Here we go.
Yeah, PC people, that's how you guys are, man.
Here we go.
It's all of
You
them
know,
too.
I mean, I'm not a PC master race though. I still do enjoy console. I still do enjoy. Part of it is because like I enjoy just kicking back and like with a controller just in the couch and not like sitting at my desk with the mouse and keyboard and all that. That's and I guess because I've always been a casual gamer, you know, actually I guess I've been a hardcore gamer, but you know, a hardcore gaming while casual. I guess
You're a medium
would be
core
the-
gamer. Is what we'll call that. Media core.
while sitting casually. I'm hardcore, but sitting casually. So yeah, like you know, I have to have my days where I'm like, okay, I really actually feel like sitting at a desk and playing PC games. So I'm not PC master race, but I do see what everybody's been talking about now. Because before I was like, what do I care? I don't care. The graphics on PS4 are great. Graphics on Xbox are great. Like, what are you talking about? PC is better. But now, like, seeing it for myself, I'm like, oh, now I see what you're talking about. Now it all makes sense. But yeah, I'm not one of those, like, you know, master race snobs. Like, oh, you guys play on consoles. You know, you're not real gamers.
Not yet,
Yeah,
though.
I'm not there yet.
You haven't betrayed us that far yet.
But I do enjoy PC games, and also I found them to be cheaper.
That's true too.
Because like on Steam, I get stuff on Steam for like, I think I got No Man's Sky for like $10, and yeah, like you rarely see that on consoles unless it's super old. And you know nobody's playing it anymore, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Or someone named Tim says, "Let's all play this game. It's really cheap," and then we buy it and he never plays. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Tim.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Well, we're going to cut this segment short because we went down a previous rabbit hole. So that is going to be it for What Are You PWC. But we want to hear from you, Jeeks, about what you're playing, what you're creating, and what you are watching.
Wait, did we go with Max?
Max is going to be playing Knights of the Republic.
No, I'm playing Knights of the Republic.
Max has his assignment. Max,
I was given homework. I didn't know I was coming to get homework.
Max
I've got
knows
homework.
what the deal is now.
Everyone leaves the Jeek Nation with homework.
That's part of the job. Yeah.
All right.
You got to discover
All right,
something
here we
new
are.
when you come on the show.
I've learned my lesson. I'm learning. Here we are.
So we are gonna, and we will definitely follow up with Max after he finishes the game, because
gosh.
there's so many
Now I gotta
questions
buy
we're
it.
gonna have for him.
Oh yeah.
The pressure is
No, I'm
so
nervous.
on.
No, I'm actually like legitimately nervous.
Be nervous. Be afraid. We are going to drill you on this game, and we want to know, and we want to hear you gush about how much you love it and how much you wish you'd have played when it came out.
And how you're a new.
We don't have to go that far. We don't have to go that far.
It's gonna be great.
We're definitely the grill mother game.
We'll just talk to your co-hosts. We'll
Dude,
find out.
those are the guys. You want to talk Star Wars? You literally call all 5 of them before you call me.
Like, so how's Max doing? Did he actually play?
They're gonna be like,
True.
Max is a fake. Max is a fraud.
Oh, we won't have Max be a fraud. We won't do that. Not at all. Well, we're gonna go with some quick hits, and I'm gonna promise to make them quick because, who am I lying to? All right. So first,
Sure you will. Brilliant.
Iron Fist, new mini series, 6-book series from Iron Fist. He ain't writing nothing. From Marvel of Iron Fist. It's going to be helmed by legend Larry Hama and artist David Wachter on Iron Fist Heart of the Dragon. Will this help revive the debacle that Netflix caused in the popularity of Iron Fist?
I
Say
no.
no. Wow. You don't think this can help?
Because you know, like the vast majority of MCU fans, or in this case Netflix fans, don't read the comics, right? They think they like to pretend that they do.
Mm-hmm.
They like to pretend that they know all the history and tell you everything about the character that you've been reading about for the last 15 years.
Yeah, like when they were like, "Oh, Colleen and Danny, they're a couple goals," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know, Danny and Misty Knight are married in the books and they have a kid, but whatever."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, let's just blow Misty Knight
So-
up.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's blow her off.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, I don't. For the hardcore fans, or even just the casual fans that actually read the comics, there's no need to revive, to restore any reputation, because you already know.
Yeah, we don't claim Finn Jones. Sorry.
Yeah, for the rest of the casual fans, that only watch the movies and only watch the series.
But what about the new?
The books? They probably don't even know.
But what
that this
about the
coming
new
out.
ones? Because like the MCU and the Netflix series have created some new people going into the books. Because we had a lot of people that they didn't know that any of those 4 that on Netflix existed. They didn't know about Daredevil. They didn't know about Luke Cage. They definitely didn't know about Jessica Jones because she's the most obscure of them all. And they likely did not know about Iron Fist. You had 2 shows that were great, one show that was good, and one show, unfortunately, that was a flop. But Defenders was decent enough to warrant possibly someone liking the character of Iron Fist despite the portrayal being lackluster.
But I gotta ask, who would want to read the books after watching the show?
No one.
Well, one you know that
like,
the martial arts aren't going to be bad now.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm just thinking about it from my okay, if I'm new to Iron Fist, and my first introduction to Iron Fist is the Netflix series, I don't want anything else to do with Iron Fist. Like, I mean, I may watch Defenders, just because I like the other 3, but outside of that, I'm not going to be like, yeah, let me go look into this, and maybe Netflix just did a bad job. Yeah, that's not likely going to happen. Like, I'm probably just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to pick up this Luke Cage comic instead, or I'm going to pick up this Daredevil comic instead, or any other vast number of Marvel comics out there, with the bigger MCU movies. I'll pick up one of those characters rather than Iron Fist, because that was already terrible and I have no interest, unless you're like really somehow, which they didn't even do a really good job of, was like, got into like the backstory, like his origin story and stuff. At least if they would have did that, then you would be like, oh, you know what, that's pretty interesting. You know what, let me go back and read the comics, right? Even though the show was bad, but they didn't even do a good job of that. It was just like they started from him, being back in America and basically taking back his company, and yeah, like you didn't even really see the Iron Fist until, what was that, like the 3rd or 4th episode? So you're like, what is this?
Max, it looks like your wheels are spinning in your head. What do you think?
I'm in the same boat. I mean, you guys are nailing it. I mean, the other part is Defenders for me was really good. I really liked Defenders. I actually think the deficiencies of season 1 assisted with Defenders, because
okay, that makes sense.
Danny Rand's character was able to not have to be the focal point on a team that, realistically, in terms of power level, he probably could have been the focal point. And in reading the comics, he obviously has much more.
He's the best fighter.
And to just completely disregard Kunlun, was ridiculous. That was insane. And to not have the dragon in it, and to just like,
right,
it was just foolish. It didn't look good. But where you're really nailing it too. Well, and the other part is, if we're looking at it from a comic book perspective, love it. I'm excited for this series. I don't really care in regards to the MCU, like how the comic does.
Right.
He's great. He's dynamite. He's a great character.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Where the MCU needs to work with this is with Shang-Chi. He needs to be introduced in that series. But let Shang-Chi be
Shang-Chi.
Let him be Shang-Chi first. Then let's introduce Danny Rand and play on the fact that he's a goofy white guy that got pulled into this weird world.
Right.
And let's send Shang-Chi there. And let's explore through that character's eyes. I want to go to that world in his eyes. I don't want to go there with Danny Rand first.
I like that idea.
Right.
And
like
Shang-Chi, I don't know if you know, like, I forget his name, but the actor that playing Shang-Chi from Kim's Convenience.
Simu Liu, I believe is his name.
All I know is he's from
mispronouncing his name.
Yeah, it's Korean. That's why I always mess it up, because I want to pronounce it with a Mandarin accent, but it's not. He's Korean. Anyway,
and he's from Canada.
Yes, he's Canadian. Homeboy from Kim's Convenience.
Super weird.
Posted that they just wrapped up. Actually, it's not super weird, but I have a lot of Asian friends who explained to me the whole Chinese and Koreans in Canada thing. But they just finished wrapping up filming Shang-Chi after 9 months of filming. So
That movie's going to be dynamite.
2021 is going to be super dope for that.
Oh, gosh,
I mean, and it's
wait.
like pretty much an entirely all Asian cast.
Yes.
And it's going to be fantastic. I am super excited.
We're going to get a kung fu MCU movie.
Yes.
I don't think people are ready for that. The kung fu genre is coming back after that,
They're
dude.
not ready. They're not ready.
Especially if the fight choreography is good. Like if it's,
it will be.
well, here's the thing. It better be, because the fight choreography has been, to me, like the biggest drop in the MCU. 8 million cuts in one on. Well, here's the thing. I'm a bit of a fight choreography. I'm a bit of a fight choreography. I own 50 Jackie Chan movies. Okay, I'm a bit of a fight choreography snob. I don't know. At least 50 Jackie Chan movies, probably 10 Jet Li movies, probably 10 Donnie Yen movies. Like, I am a stickler on fight choreography. I hate multiple cuts. I don't like when the fact that if you can't shoot a fight scene right, when you're pulling away because you're trying to show that there's no, and trying to hide the fact that there was no impact and all that, that's not a good fight scene to me.
I feel like that's a prerequisite for this one, though, right? Like,
to
I
me,
feel like
it should be. I think it should be.
I feel like if they drop the ball there, everyone's going to have negative feedback for this movie.
Yes, and that's why I'm hoping that it ushers in a better era of fight choreography for the MCU movies, especially for those who do martial arts as part of their main fighting style, like the Gamoras and the Black Widows. Because I'm sorry, when the only shot you can do of Johansson's stunt double is that continued head scissor takeover, takedown into, it's like, dude, she's done that in 4 movies now. Like, please shoot another shot.
It's her bit. That's her bit, though.
But again,
I get it. I get what you're saying. I do.
But
I
know I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to that. I know my expectations are high.
I think it's fair. Fair. This has to be a kung fu movie. It has to be a kung fu movie. I agree.
Yeah, it's got to be a kung fu movie. It's got to be on that upper level. And because it's Shang-Chi, he's supposed to be the greatest martial artist in the world. Like, it's got to be top level.
And Kevin Feige, I trust. Kevin's not going to let us down.
I do.
He's been good so far. Just don't let J.J. Abrams get his hands on it.
No, JJ ain't touching a Marvel movie. You don't have to worry about that. We just upset the Star Wars fan. Everybody calm down. JJ's not doing any Marvel movies. Everybody calm down.
All right, so next quick hit. We're going back to the hardwood, and this is not a knock on LeBron, but Pat Riley is knocking on LeBron. Pat Riley says that the Lakers championship should have an asterisk to it. And the reason why is, well, I'll see what you think about it. The reason is because Bam was hurt and Goran was hurt. So he believes there should be an asterisk on this Lakers championship. Max, you're
sore loser. Thoughts. Pat Riley's being a sore loser. He needs to shut his mouth on this subject. People have been making this argument, in my opinion, and I feel very strongly on this. I'm very interested to see what you think on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think this championship this goes down as one for the record, because the demand mentally on those athletes to do what they did was incredible, given the circumstances of what was happening culturally, given the demand of what was happening in their family lives. There was threat of COVID. I tip my hat to every team. I also think the Heat wouldn't have even been in the finals had they been playing a normal season. I think the Heat would have been out in the second round. I think the Bucks would have beaten them with a home court advantage. I think a lot of things would have been different. I think it would have been LA versus LA. And I think it would have been a much better series. I don't think the Blazers would have made it in the playoffs. I think so many things didn't happen that would have happened had it been a normal year. I still think LeBron would have won, but this is a sore loser take. I don't buy it. Love Pat Riley, but I was floored when I read this. I was like, are you seriously saying this? Come on. This is a sore loser take. And the fact that your players got hurt, guess what? That's what happens. That's not LeBron's fault.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's their fault.
That's part of the game.
Well, today it sounds like something Max listened to when we talked about the bubble and the bubble effect, because we said pretty much exactly all of that. 2 episodes.
I did
ago.
not listen to that episode, but I
further.
can't I don't know how people can dog this playoffs. I don't know how they can. The playing field was level for everybody.
Well, can't say it was level, but it was different. We both agreed that the Heat would not have made the finals in a regular non-bubble playoffs. The Bucks definitely probably would have won, and this is a different situation. It's never happened like this before. They've never had a situation like this where there's a pandemic, and you've got this enclosure, and it's a different style of basketball, and we talked about that in depth in the last episode. So if you want to hear that in depth, watch the last or listen to the last episode. We go in depth about why there's differences because Scottie Pippen made comments about it. I'm proud.
But I also
You did
predicted
yes,
that if LeBron won, somebody was going to come out
For
and say-
sure.
I said multiple people that they were going to say this one doesn't count because this, and this.
you were correct.
I feel like Pat Riley could have came up with a better excuse than, oh yeah, well 2 of our key players are hurt. Like I don't buy that either. Because you can use that excuse on any finals.
That was the point I was going to make if you didn't say it.
Yeah.
Every finals has had so like you go all the way back to you're like, well,
Yeah, well, if Kareem would have gotten hurt against the Sixers, they probably wouldn't even need
OKC
Game
should've
7.
won. Yeah.
Well, if Isaiah doesn't get hurt in '88 with that ankle, the Pistons win in '88. Well, if Magic's hamstring isn't hurt in '89, then the Lakers win in '89.
If Kobe doesn't tear his Achilles, they would have gone on a run.
Right.
Come on.
They would have gone.
Yeah,
Come
They
on.
were poised for it.
come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't throw injuries in my. There's 8 million reasons why you could put an asterisk on this entire season,
Agreed.
Yeah.
but injuries is not one of them.
Even just the fact that it wasn't
Not
a
a
full
chance.
season.
Injuries
Not
is
a
the
chance.
one reason that
Injuries shouldn't
makes-
even be in the conversation.
Yeah, injuries is the one reason that makes zero sense.
Makes
You could
no
talk
sense.
about COVID.
Pat
you
Riley
could
should
talk
be
about the
grateful
bubble.
his team was even there.
Oh,
that is
absolutely.
ridiculous that the Heat were even there. It was borderline. That alone could be a reason for why you could make an argument that LeBron shouldn't get credit for a title because they
Right.
were playing the Heat.
Yes. That nobody, and not even loyal Heat fans were like, they weren't like, we're going to the finals. They were like, crazy.
They matched up so poorly against the Lakers. It was Jimmy had to play out of his mind twice.
He played out of his mind the entire series, but those 2 particular games, yeah.
I know, but he had to play out of his mind just to have a chance to win. Is the
Right.
point I'm making? And
Yeah, I mean,
And as much as I respect Goran Dragic, yes, he was their second leading scorer, their leading scorer leading up to the finals. Since when has Goran Dragic been that type of a difference maker for any team he's been on? Like he's good, but
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
not
that.
he's not
He's not
championship
that
caliber.
dude.
he's not AD. He ain't AD level.
He's not that level dude. And Bam is good, and Bam probably should be the most improved player of the year. But Bam also is not that dude. You know?
No
and
way.
they showed it by winning, without Bam and without Goran.
Yeah.
So like, don't act like without these guys you would have been completely sunk because clearly you weren't.
Pat Riley's crying.
Yeah, and
Pat Riley's crying. He needs to
which
chill.
shocks me is that he's
Yeah,
crying, and
that
that
shocks
is
me
the
too.
reason why. Like, bro, there's
that's what I mean. I mean, just you could have
something better than injuries.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Just
Yeah.
Injuries. Like, what
Yeah.
we so then no one's a real champion because you know what? Everybody
every
has
season
somebody
has
got
injuries.
hurt.
Come
So
on.
Bird gets hurt. Well, that one doesn't count because Bird's back is hurting him.
Yeah.
Isaiah's
Don't buy it.
Come on, ridiculous.
Part
All
of
right,
life. That's part of how it goes, people.
Moving on. November 27th, 2020 is the release date for the Nike Kobe 5 Protro Bruce Lee's. Gentlemen, copper drop. And give a click on the link if you haven't seen them there, Max.
I've seen him. I just wanted to look at a picture of him again so I can give my deep analysis on shoes that I'll never buy. Oh my gosh. No, this is I mean, I'll cop them, but I mean, like, I don't know if my wife is gonna let me cop them. I mean, like, that's kind of how
because
this
they're
works out here,
$180?
right? Yeah, I mean, like, would I look really fly and hip with it? Yeah, I'm sure I would, but I just don't think I don't know if it's gonna work. What's the price point on this? Am I reading this?
Oh, 180.
Oh man, yeah, that's a deep price point for me, my friends. That's something else. It's a sweet looking shoe. It looks great. It's gonna look great on a lot of high schoolers' feet that I hang out with.
Right. And you're like, I would like those shoes. Can you get
Their
your mom
feet are
and dad
gonna
to
look
buy me
really
those
cool,
too?
and then they're gonna go all slushy in the snow. They're gonna go home and wash them.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll cop them just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right. Just in time to mess them up in the snow. I love them. I think they're great. I would definitely cop them. I actually prefer the alternate color better with the white and black. But I know the yellow and black is classic Bruce Lee, so I understand why they did that. But
dude, I'm just seeing the alternate does way better. I agree. The alternate's way better.
Those are amazing. I really like the alternate. I mean, I'm like looking at them now. I'm like, the
alternate's where it's at. You're right.
I like these. I'm gonna agree. Like the alternate, to me, the alternate is better only because I can actually wear it with something. I love. My car is yellow. I like yellow. Yellow is my daughter's favorite color. It's my mom's favorite color. I dig yellow. I don't own any yellow, so I got nothing that's going to go with that. And I'm not about to go buy a Bruce Lee, yellow with the black stripe jumpsuit to go with my non-existing yellow, motorcycle or whatever. Like I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
It's just in time for Christmas. You could get it at the top price it'll ever be at, though.
Yeah,
you could pay like $300 versus the typical $200 you'd pay.
It ain't gonna happen. If I'm gonna spend it,
your choice.
I will spend it on another pair of 11s. I like these, and if I had the disposable income, I would probably cop them. But I would probably cop the alternates just because, again, I'm not about to start decking out in yellow. It's just don't think it's gonna make me look good either. All that yellow, looking like I got a big feet, look like Big Bird or something like that. I ain't trying to have that. But I think they're dope. And for people who can pull off yellow, if I had the yellow motorcycle and if I could rock the yellow like that, it would be a most definite because they look great. Yeah. Like there's no doubt about it. But yeah, this ain't for the regular Joe.
I may actually just get these. I might actually get them. I like either color, but I have a feeling they're gonna be hard to get.
Definitely.
Sneaker bots, man.
God, I hate the bots. Don't get me started on the bots. And Aaron, in our community, we send our Jeek support. We hope you cop something because you've been taking a whole lot of L's thanks to those bots.
Oh,
he's been taking so many L's and trying to get these kicks out here. It's rough. It's rough out here in these streets.
The bots ran me out of the game for about a year.
It's a cruel bot world. It is. We're going to go on to the last quick hit. See, I've told you I'm going to make these quick. We're going back to the Star Wars world real quick here. So The Mandalorian, if you didn't hear us talking about earlier, returns Season 2 this Friday, which you'll be listening to this on Wednesday. So you'll have a day and a half, ultimately, to prepare for The Mandalorian Season 2 dropping Friday. And an interesting theory has come up about character Moff Gideon, played by the wonderful Giancarlo Esposito. And that theory is that Moff Gideon may be a former Sith Inquisitor. Now, Max is probably going a little too deep for you on Star Wars knowledge. So I will let Unique DNA take first dibs before I explain a little bit to you on the Inquisitor history.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Because of the Dark Blade?
Because of the Darksaber, yep.
The dark saber's sweet.
The Darksaber is sweet. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet part of that last season of the season finale.
He cuts his way out, and you're like, "Whoa, what is that?"
I was like, "Whoa, hold on! I thought there was just lightsabers." Oh, I didn't know this was a thing.
The Darksaber. I was like, it makes perfect sense. Because I was like, how else could he have gotten it, right? There's not really a whole lot of other ways.
There's not many, and like, even if it's like how he would have gotten it if he wasn't one, because it's not like they're just be floating out there. Hey, here's this Darkblade weapon, used by this elite force just to kill Jedi. Like, how would you get your hands on that?
Yeah. I mean, unless he's a former Mandalorian, which is also possible, but not likely.
Yeah, that's not likely.
Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't really their thing, as far as like hunting down Jedi and stuff like that. And clearly,
even when they leave
the child is a force
even when
user.
they leave their clans, they tend to stay underground, like they're not out there type. He's got too much personality, too much flair to be Mandalorian. If that makes sense.
He has way too much authority.
In the remnant of the Empire. These leftovers. Yeah, he's got too much stroke for him to be. It makes sense to me. It's probably not right, but it definitely makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense to me. I would say it makes total sense. And then just his whole his armor and everything. It has that Inquisitor look with the black and they got the Empire emblem.
That's true.
And I mean, and they all wielded some kind of Sith saber. So it would make sense to me that he somehow got the dark saber from killing off the last of the Mandalorian Jedi, the last one that owned it at the time, or who had it last? I have to remember. Yeah. But either way, I'm pretty sure he's an Inquisitor.
I think
I don't know what that means,
so
but
the
I'm very excited.
So in short, Max, the Inquisitors were a hit squad that between episodes 3 and 4 of Star Wars. So between what was it? What's 3 called? Because I hate it so much. Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Revenge of the Sith.
There was this hit squad of Sith called the Inquisitors, and their job was to hunt down and kill the remaining Jedi. So he's got the age definitely for being a former Inquisitor, because
which would actually, now that we're talking about this, I know you're going into the exposition, but that would also make sense why Ahsoka would be in the new episode.
That's a good point.
The new season.
I was going to mention that.
That actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. So I think even though it's a theory, nothing's confirmed, it makes a ton of sense. And I think it would be really, really cool, because that would say to me that Disney is opening up their ideas to using expanded universe stuff, because that's all expanded universe, lore story coming into the forefront.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I would love to see, I probably won't do it, but who knows? Maybe I would love to see Thrawn in live action too.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. I don't know, and Max is probably like, "Who's Thrawn?"
Oh, now we're at the part where we're mocking me. All right, here we are. Every show gets to this point at some point, and we've reached it at the 2-hour mark is where we reached.
I'm just defending you, like I can't expect you to react to something where you probably is like, I've never heard of this person. What? No, there's a guy with a blue face. Like, why is there a blue face person here? Why are we talking about blue people? Isn't that Avatar?
Blue people.
Yeah.
Blue?
The Blue Band group. Thrawn would be cool, but we don't want to. We'll save that rabbit hole for another time. We're gonna hit. So we're gonna hit to our main topic, which is a little fan casting fun to end this episode. If you haven't heard, if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed video game series, Netflix is going to have a live action Assassin's Creed series that is currently in development, as well as animated and anime versions to follow. But for the live version, let's fan cast who you would think would work in the Assassin's Creed universe. Give me 2 or 3 actors that you could see playing these legendary assassins. Yeah, ruminate on that a little bit. Yeah, think about it.
I hadn't thought about
So
this.
so I've got 2.
Okay.
I've got 2.
Go
and
right ahead. Guess
one
first.
one is an obvious one. So the obvious one for me is Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
So he just got casted as Kang,
Yes.
the Conqueror.
Which we talked about 3 episodes ago. But give a listen.
I am all in on this guy. I am all in on this guy. I think he's been doing a dynamite job in Lovecraft Country. He's just kind of one of those new up and coming actors that I can already tell is just going to be doing a lot of stuff. So he would be great. If the prerequisite for this show is that they have to be European, Caucasian descent, then I would lean towards Shia LaBeouf. And the reason I'd lean towards Shia LaBeouf is a couple reasons.
Okay.
One is we haven't seen him in a buff role yet. So we haven't seen him in an athletic role. He's got the chops to work it.
You mean Transformers wasn't buff enough for you?
That's a rabbit hole we don't want to go down tonight. Man.
I digress.
If only I had 3 weeks.
You mean
No,
he wasn't buff in iRobot? I mean,
Oh my gosh, he was an iRobot. No, I'm just a big Shia LaBeouf fan.
you forgot he
I
was an
forgot
iRobot
about that.
didn't you?
Oh man, you totally kind of ruined my pick here. But anyway, we'll try to defend it. After you
That
made a
wasn't
great-
my intention. I'm sorry.
It was a great counter argument to why he shouldn't be in this movie.
Actually do like Shia LaBeouf.
I just think I really liked him in Peanut Butter Falcon. If you haven't seen that movie, that's like unbelievable movie. That's probably his best acted movie in my opinion.
Okay.
I think he could do it, and I think it'd be kind of fun to playing with the he's in the future and he's getting strapped into the machine and he's not as buff. I think that'd be kind of fun to play with. Then when he goes in, he's like more buff.
Kind of like
I think there's something fun to be playing.
Like
I think
Steve
he can handle it.
Rogers.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, if it doesn't have to be European, then my first guess
Is Majors.
the first one I want is Majors, because he just commands he commands the screen.
He does.
And in Lovecraft Country, he's leading that show right now.
Oh yeah.
And he is going to be an unbelievable Kang. I could not have picked a better Kang for the MCU, but I'm all in on Jonathan Majors right now. I'm so excited about that actor.
I dig it. I like that. Okay. Yeah.
I like that pick. I think I'm gonna go with, and this might be unpopular. It probably will be.
I'm scared now.
I'll probably say Robbie Amell.
Wait, who?
Ooh yeah, that is unpopular. That is going to be unpopular.
I hate how Arrow makes me not like him because I don't not like him. But God, yeah, he's so typecast as Arrow now that it's like, and I don't want to be like that. I don't.
He does fit the vibe for it.
That's what I'm
He
thinking.
does fit that vibe.
It's not. It's more so like he just has that. He has that vibe. And then when you think about like what also made me kind of think about it was I don't know if you've seen Upload yet on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. But I saw the.
It's kind of the same thing, right? Like he gets uploaded into the virtual world, and like he has to kind of, and like he did that so well.
See,
I'm
I need
just
to watch
oh,
that
man,
because
I
every
could see
time
him.
I look at Robbie, I just think of his brother, and I think of him in and I think of him in Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm just like, no, I'm not Legends of Tomorrow. I think of him in Flash as what's his called? What's the name? Him and Professor Stein.
Firestorm.
Firestorm. Yes, I think of him as
Firestorm,
Firestorm. Like I can't think of him as anything else but Firestorm. But I do need to watch Upload because it looks hilarious. And
Upload's fantastic.
it does look really
I love
great.
Upload. Great pick. Great callback. I forgot that I watched that a couple months ago.
Well, it doesn't say only is that great if you forget.
2020 has been
that.
that year that I've forgotten everything that happened months ago.
No, because this is I've been the same
I'll
way.
give you a pass on
We talked about this earlier. I was like, it's been 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, I'll
No,
give you a
it's only
pass
3
on that.
weeks.
Okay. I got you there. That makes sense.
But yeah, Upload was awesome. I definitely, and like that was the first thing that came to my mind. Was like, it's similar, sort of premise in the sense that like he's in this virtual world and all that. And I'm like, so I know he can pull that off,
Right?
Because you've seen it happen already.
Kind of seen him do it, and we know he can kind of do the athletic thing. And yeah, I just think he'd be a great pick.
Okay, so Robbie, Mel, any others that you can think of?
That's the first one that comes off the top of my head. I don't know. I guess if I think about it long enough, I'll
okay,
come up with another one.
This is the one topic I hadn't like thought about much beforehand. But now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm hearing your picks, I'm actually coming up with a pretty unique one that I'm kind of surprised myself with. He's a little older, but I think what's his now I forget his last name. What is his name? Now I'm mad at myself. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it. Because
Google it. Google never lets you down ever.
For real.
Never. Just be prepared for all the ads you're gonna see about whatever show you're looking at.
I'm just gonna be
right
mad
now.
because I didn't remember his last name. I'm generally like so good with names, and I don't want to look because I'm gonna be mad at myself for not remembering his. That's it. Jeffrey Donovan, aka Michael Weston.
Yeah.
From Burn Notice. Like, 'cause again, we've seen him as a spy. So, and he's got legit martial arts background. We know he can do the athletic stuff. We know he can do the fight scenes. He's a little older, but he can still pass for someone in his early 40s. So he's not too old to be, to be an assassin. And I think he has the presence. He's got the experience that he could do a role like that, at least be one of the assassins. And I think he would be a good fit for that. I think that would be a really good fit for him. Or if not too much acting is required, then it's perfect for Scott Adkins. Because,
okay.
Can you find, especially if it's got to be European, can you find a better European martial artist out there to put on television? To put on a movie, I can't think of anybody else that will be better than Scott Adkins if it doesn't require a lot of acting. If you've got to act, then Adkins is not the right person. But if we're talking about 90% action, give me Scott Adkins.
That's mostly what Assassin's Creed.
Well, yeah, but on a
anyway.
on a TV show, it's got to be more than that to keep going.
Yeah, but I think you can pull it off where he has minimal. Because the video games are basically just like all the other characters are kind of doing the acting, right? So if you can kind of keep that in your script, and you're just kind of just a silent assassin that goes out and kills people, you can probably pull it off pretty easy.
Yeah. I agree.
It'll be interesting to see what this show looks like.
I agree because
if it's a mess, then that's the second attempt at it, and we're done, right?
And it could easily be a mess.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about that because didn't they do a cartoon?
They did try this
version?
before. This is not the first.
They tried
attempt.
a movie with Fassbender.
Yes, and that was horrible.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's right.
You forgot about that movie.
Man.
That movie was so
that one
bad.
Came out the vault. I put that one in the vault.
It was
really
really
to come
bad.
out.
And
so that was for me. I was like, man, Fassbender kind of was a good pick for that at the time.
Well, he's got the look. He has the look, definitely. And part of the problem is they gave away all the good action scenes in the trailer. You didn't need to watch the movie.
No,
because all the good stuff was. They even did the whole suit. The whole
jumping out,
the suicide dive or whatever. They showed all the good stuff in the trailer.
The suicide dive's got to happen 5 times, right? In the Netflix show, it's got to happen 5 times an episode.
It's
That's the best part of the game. Right? That's the best part of the game.
Yeah.
Swan dive right into a pile of hay, conveniently set there.
Oh, that would be hilarious, actually.
Oh man, so good.
I just don't know how you make that story be episodic and you'd have to really
because it was supposed to be right with the first 3 originally. Ubisoft said we're making a trilogy and this is the story, right? And we're we're rebuilding these ancient memories to find the Knights Templar's hidden treasure or whatever it was. And it was like, it was a great story. Like, I know, I mean, that's what made me buy the game. I was like, just hearing the story, I was like, this sounds like an awesome game. Then I played it and I was like, this is super repetitive and kind of boring. But you know, if you can encapsulate that story and take out all the game elements,
but see
it,
that's the thing.
Story.
Like, so what? It's a lot of rinse and repeat when you're playing it. But but people are going to want to see really great action, and a lot of it's going to be. I mean, it's a political assassination game, and we saw what happened when you put too much politics in Star Wars, and everyone lost their minds, and everyone's angry about it. So, I mean, are we going to get a show where it's a whole bunch of political talk, and every once in a while someone gets stabbed? Because that's what it sounds like is going to happen.
Well, I mean, this is not the greatest example, but I'm thinking about like National
that's
Treasure,
definitely not a great example,
right?
but continue.
But I mean, the story that was there, like, you know what I mean? Like the
So
treasure
you're
and all
talking
that,
about
like,
great story, poor
you
execution. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, you can, like, that storyline, like, it kept you engaged for 3 movies, right? Even though it was like for the most part, it was like, okay. Even if maybe you didn't
get out
movies,
the first
but at
movie,
least
but
for 2.
That's just me.
Right? Like, you were like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, the history, like, if you dive deep into that stuff, right? And like telling the story, then the history and everything like that. And then the assassination parts are just more kind of the further the story somehow, or change history or whatever. I think you can make a great series out of it because there's so much history there. And then of course, you know, it's historical fiction. So you make up your own stuff on top of that. And I mean, you can tell that in a series, a season or 2.
It's Netflix though. They'll cancel it after 1 year.
Yeah, that's what they do.
It doesn't matter what they do. Netflix will cancel it after a year because it's Netflix.
Like, wait, people like this? Oh wait, but it costs money.
Why would we get invested in a show past 1 season if we're Netflix?
Yeah.
That's my only thing with this is if it's Netflix, it's not going to be around long enough for me to care.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like they gotta tell the story and finish it.
Right. Instead of like
maybe 2.
But honestly, it really shouldn't go past 2 or 3.
No, but you know how these things go. Usually, I mean, outside of Netflix.
I mean, unless they really expanded it. Unless they expand it to like Australia, into Africa, into Asia, and other places. If it stays Eurocentric, then.
Well, I mean, that's what they were kind of trying to do with Black Flag, right?
That's true.
Bring it to
I forgot about that. Yeah,
America.
That didn't go well.
Like colonial America. So, I mean, well, a lot of people.
That's true. A lot of people do love it. It's like you loved it or hated it.
The series.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
It wasn't my favorite either. I mean, honestly,
it's those first 2 games are the best. They're the OG ones. Those are the ones I like.
2.
Those are the ones that I watched and played when I was in college and high school.
Right. Yeah.
The new ones didn't feel the part.
But yeah.
See, but if I'm them, I skip the whole lot.
But those stories.
See, if I'm them, I've skipped the whole live action part because you have a lot more leeway if you go animated or an anime version. And maybe an animated version to have a more PG option, and an anime version for your more hardcore. I want to see the blood and slash and sex and all that stuff. I think you could just do more. Do maybe a half an hour show, compared to a 45-minute drama, and do anime style, 25 minutes. Get more content. Get more episodes. And not oversaturate the story. That's, I mean, granted, it's kind of limited as far as what you can do, and there's only so many major historical figures that you can assassinate or kill to change history, or there's only so many you can really do.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I think they should have stuck to 3 games, but I mean, who am I?
We're just people. We're just fans, y'all.
Yeah, we're just.
I agree.
Guys talking on.
That's what we do.
A bunch of nerds.
They just keep stealing our ideas, but I digress.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely think it could be successful if you kind of come at it from that angle and really tell the story, like, you know, because you'll get all the history nerds, you get all the like the people who
That's
are
true.
into that stuff, historical fiction people. You'll get them just because they're like, oh man, you know, whatever it is, American Revolution, the Renaissance, whatever you want to, you know, whatever era you want to go into, you kind of get to tell that story and from your own angle, and then the action is just kind of the icing on the cake. Like, oh yeah, and we get to see some good action.
Okay,
too.
so
Okay,
I'm going to
cool.
say if they do it with the writing level of a Man in the High Castle, so
Okay. That's a better
so
example
if
that I can think of.
so if each season is like, okay, what if they assassinated Mark Antony instead of Caesar, and they say it's going to be better, so we're going to kill Mark Antony and instead of Caesar, Caesar's going to live, or we kill Brutus instead of Caesar, something like that. Whatever. Kill Mark Antony and make Caesar get mad, and he decides to establish power and blah, 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 blah. Like, and then next season it's, I don't know, assassinating King Henry to blah, 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 blah. And then the next season it's something else. Like, if you do one major assassination that you have to do to change X, Y, and Z throughout that season, you do that 3 or 4 times, you could probably have a successful show if it's the writing on the par of a Man in the High Castle. And that's going to be a lot of political, intelligent, you know, historically fictional referenced content that if they don't take really good care of how they write it, it will then flop, because it can't be as action-based as probably most people will expect it to be. You're going to have to be really smart, very cerebral as far as when you kill, how you kill, and how much action you do. And if people are going to go into it expecting to see a whole bunch of running on the walls and jumping back and forth and suicide diving, then it's just going to be like that trash movie. But if you do it like a Man in the High Castle, where where every episode you're seeing, you know, of let's say it's a 45-minute drama, and 5 minutes maximum of that 45-minute episode is actually action, and the rest is setting up why they're taking said actions, then you probably have something to go with. But that means I just took
I'd
Scott
watch it.
Adkins out of my cast because he can't act his way out of a brown paper bag. As much as I love the guy's action, he can't act.
I accept your way. That's the way I want to go.
That's the way you want to go?
That's the way I'll go.
take it.
I endorse that.
We've got a consensus, Jeeks. We've got a consensus.
We did it. About
Awesome.
time.
Nice.
We did it.
It only
Still
took us 2
only took us
hours
2
to come to a
hours.
consensus. How about that? Well, Jeeks, thank you for enduring us going down the rabbit hole. And that's going to be it for this episode of the original Jeek podcast that we created to bless your earballs. Special thanks to our guest, Max Moser of the Infinity Bros podcast. Before we go, again, Max, please remind them where they can follow you on the social medias.
You can follow me at Max Moser 73. You can check out all our stuff on theinfinitybros.com. It'll take you where you need to go from there. But it's easy, theinfinitybros.com. Check us out. And thanks again for having me on, guys. This has been a blast. You guys are a blast and a lot of fun. I want to go down many more rabbit holes with you, hopefully, in the future.
Oh, we are looking forward to it because we're going to hold you to playing that Knights of the Old Republic.
I know you will. Now I'm kind of nervous. I got to go get that game now, man. I'm gonna work
$5.
on that.
If you haven't played the game, Cheeks, it's $5 in the App Store. Trust me, you will.
It's worth
It is
every
worth
bit of
10
it.
times that much. Get the game, play the game. Tell us how you like it. Tweet us. Mention it in the community, whatever. But I am your host, Rocky Mr. Magic. He is.
Unique DNA.
And we know, Jeeks, that we could not do this journey, this Jeek thing we do without you. So please continue to rate and review the show on your podcasting app of choice. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, man. It's more and more. And if you can't find us, email us, geeknation@gmail.com, or message us on Twitter, IG now, as well as Facebook. And until next time, peace.
Peace.
ready to make an entrance, so backward cut.
Come on, clap for me.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, slow down. Whoa, speed up.
This is DJ What, and you're listening to the original Jeek podcast.